There's a new name for Toyota in Lanarkshire.
From one of the UK's biggest names in motor retail.
Macklin Motors Toyota is now open in Hamilton.
We're bringing you everything Toyota backed by first-class service.
So come and view the stunning new Toyota range, all with up to 10 years warranty.
Including the Aygo Cross and the new Yaris Cross compact SUV.
See our great choice of approved used Toyotas.
Our formidable range of commercial vehicles, including the Hilux.
Get expert servicing from our manufacturer-trained technicians.
And specialist advice from our Motability team.
Macklin Motors Toyota is open now.
At Whistlebury Road, Hamilton.
The Go Radio Football Show with MacklinMotors.com, representing some of the biggest motoring manufacturers across Scotland.
Let's go!
Good evening. Yes, we're back. This is the Go Radio Football Show with Macklin Motors, live at the packed Radisson Red in Glasgow for our Euro Nights in association with Steen. Fantastic. It's standing room only in here in the magnificent Radisson Red, and the podcast will be on later. Straight on the whistle. And what's it going to be at the end? Is it going to be 5-0? That's all that Rangers need tonight to progress and to stay in Europe. They would go into the Europa League. Mark Guidi is with us, Barry Ferguson, and many of our friends have arrived as well. We don't know you yet. Hopefully you will be friends by the end of the evening. And we'll be here tomorrow night. We'll be here earlier for Real Madrid against Celtic. Barry, this is the thing. No points so far in Rangers' case. But this is the Champions League tonight, and Rangers have a chance of getting 3 points.
Yeah, thanks for remembering me that. Yep, listen, it's been a difficult campaign, but listen, they've got an opportunity tonight against an Ajax team who are not in great form, Paul. So they've got an opportunity to get at least points on the board, and I honestly think after Saturday's performance against Aberdeen, that would have brought a bit of confidence back into the squad. And I'll hopefully get the same performance tonight. And if they produce that same sort of performance, well, they're in with a chance of getting the 3 points.
It's really unusual, though, Mark, isn't it? Normally, we'd be buzzing. Champions League, a special Euro night, but it has been difficult. But Rangers have got a chance tonight to salvage pride, big time, against a team who beat them, 4-0 2 months ago?
Yeah, on the opening game for Rangers in Amsterdam, Paul, they annihilated Rangers. It could have been a lot sorer. It was a shocking performance from Rangers, and Giovanni Van Bronckhorst left the team far too wide open as well. However, first and foremost, Rangers will look to get a win on the board. They haven't won in 5 games, and that is really important, Paul. I don't think you want to go through any campaign not being able to win a game yet. It's been a difficult section for them, but still, they've got to go and win a game. They've got a duty and a responsibility to their supporters tonight. There'll be 50,000 of them at Ibrox who've paid a lot of money to watch this Champions League programme. That's why I think there'll be a strong team out tonight. And Rangers, even if it's 2-1 or 1-0, look, ideal scenario, Rangers are 3 up at half-time, they're buzzing, you're coming out for the second half. But Ajax is a strong team as well. Alfred Schroeder, the Ajax manager, is under pressure, as Barry said. Their form's not been great too. So they're not going to come into this game with their eye off the ball. I think it's got the makings of a really good 90 minutes. And if Rangers can take at least a couple of goals leading at half-time, it's game on in the second half.
We're going to find out. Do you think that Rangers are going to win tonight? And does anyone think they could get the 5 goals that would take them into the Europa League? Barry, we were talking beforehand, to put it in perspective, what's the worst you did in the Champions League in Europe, points-wise?
We certainly get points on the board,
yep.
Paul, and that's the main thing for Rangers tonight, to make sure they don't go through this group stage without any points. And that will be the driving force tonight. I'm sure the manager would have made that clear. I'm sure the players will be talking amongst themselves. And it becomes a bit of personal pride tonight. They're at home, they're at Ibrox, 52,000 fans behind them. And I'm really expecting a real positive performance, because as I said, listen, confidence is everything in football. And I thought on Saturday, I said to you, I thought they needed a ballsy performance. And they certainly got that, individually and collectively. I thought they were bang at it. And they need to bring that to the party tonight, and hopefully they can do that.
No Halloween horror show. Halloween's out the way. You said for the weekend you wanted that kind of performance, and you got it. And this is the team Rangers who didn't do well against PSV, and then they did. And PSV, of course, beat Arsenal the other day, top of the English Premier League. They could do it, couldn't they?
Get the win.
The
tonight.
win, yeah.
Look, you've got to be positive. You've got to be confident. Look, they're missing key players. There's no doubt about that. Obviously, Golson's been out. Yep. Ben Davies is out as well tonight. Lundstrom's obviously suspended. So they're big players for Rangers. But listen, that's why you've got a big squad. I said to you last night, I think he'll set up in a certain way, and I still look at that and think it is strong enough. Is it Rangers' strongest team? No, it's not, but there's still, for me, enough quality in there.
Let's get that team in a moment. Let's hear from the manager last night then at the training beforehand. He met the media and he gave us the injury update.
We have Kamara coming back in the squad, and we have Lundstrom not available because suspension, and Humas will not be ready. He will be out for several weeks. Ben Davis didn't train. Hopefully will be involved in the weekend, but tomorrow it's too early.
There's 10 players in total, Mark, not available, plus John Lundstrom, an entire team virtually, and 4 centre-halves are out.
Yep.
Barry gave us his team last night, and I think yours might be very similar to the former Rangers captain.
Yeah, I mean, they're absolutely decimated. There is no doubt about that, you know, and I think that's why possibly Ajax start the game as favourites, certainly according to the bookies. I think it's...
Is that where the bookies have gotten today? Sorry.
I think so, yeah.
Right.
I think Ajax, I think there's been quite a few lumping onto Ajax because of the situation that Rangers find themselves in. I don't think Rangers will be too far away from McGregor in goals, a back 4 of Tavernier, King, Sands and Barisic, 3 in midfield, Davis, Arfield and Tillman, and Sakala, Cholak and Kent up front. And apart from that, there's not a great deal. You could have obviously Morelos in there instead. You've got Kamara coming back, but I don't think he's 100%, Barry.
No,
So in terms of and Davis won't be risked, obviously, because apart from anything else, I've spoken about it a lot, and I know tonight's about trying to win a game of football in Europe, but Sunday's a massive game at Perth. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst needs to win his final 3 league games. If he doesn't before the World Cup break, he might find himself out of a job.
But they were Jekyll and Hyde, weren't they? Because to be fair, against Aberdeen, it was like Rangers of old.
Yeah, I mean, Aberdeen took the lead, and had Rangers not had a bit about them, they would have folded. There's no doubt about that. So they have shown character to come back and go and get a job done against a good Aberdeen team. So yeah, with the supporters behind them, with the players on form, there was urgency there. There was goals in it. To be honest, they probably could have scored 7 or 8, but to win 4-1 at home at any time, and that's why they should get in tonight. I mean, Barry spoke about getting 7 points, getting into the latter stages of the Champions League. Regardless of where Rangers are and how many injuries or Lundstrom being suspended, they should not be. A Rangers team at Ibrox should not be frightened of Ajax. That's a wee bit different if it was the Liverpools, the Man Cities, Napoli in the kind of form they're in. I get that. But against an Ajax team, a Dutch team, they should not be scared in any shape or form. They should be in the front foot with 50,000 supporters behind them, taking the game. Now, make sure come full time tonight, Rangers do not finish this campaign without a win in the board.
Yeah, I've got to agree. It's got to be an all-action display. Go and attack them. And when Mark's team, he's just mentioned there, it was the exact same team that I had said I think they'll go with tonight. And you look at the midfield too. Obviously, Arfield and Tillman, who are attack-minded, and then obviously the front 3, Sakala, Cholak and Ryan Kent with the 2 full-backs bombing on. So I think he's got to take the game to Ajax. Look, they are a quality team, no doubt about it. They've got players that can hurt you, but Rangers are at home. You should never fear anybody when you're playing at Ibrox.
Let's hear from the manager then, speaking last night, and he was talking about this game with Ajax.
Well, we need to be on, our form needs to be there. Especially in Europe, you have to be 90 minutes focused, because a lot of moments in this campaign, we're getting punished not to be 100%, over the 90 minutes. Against Napoli, of course, with the sending off and the 3 penalties, it's always hard. But for 60, 65 minutes, we were, well in the game. Against Liverpool, we were only 65 minutes. And then, of course, with the substitutions and the injuries we had, then we dropped. They punished us big time. So we need to have, our level, but, the level for 90 minutes. That's what's expected and what's needed in the Champions League.
And there'll be 40, 50,000 will be here tonight for the game, just a mile from where we are at the Radisson Red. We're here with the Go Radio Football Show. Paul Cooney, Barry Ferguson, Mark Guidi, and many Rangers fans here, standing room only, ahead of the game tonight. But some of you will be staying with us, and we'll get the podcast later with Steen. I wonder what the story will be then. Now, you can hear, he realises this has been a really poor campaign, and 0 points it's unacceptable. And you think they're going to get it tonight. Who are going to be the match winners for Rangers? You reckon Cholak is going to be on and not Morelos from the start?
Yeah, well, for me, you know what I think of Morelos. I think he's a top striker, but he's not in form. He's not played enough football. For me, Sholak's come in, he's got 14 goals, Paul. So for me, he starts clearly up front. Look, it's disappointing, the campaign, no doubt about it. You're coming up against top quality teams and top quality players, but I still believe you should be having points on the board going in. I know they're going in and they could get the 5 goals and they could get into Europa League, but I think Rangers had more points on the board to make a real fist of maybe trying to get the second place. I know it was always going to be difficult with the quality of Liverpool and Napoli, but I expected more. But it's been disappointing. But listen, they can cap it off tonight with the last game at Ibrox. We're getting 3 points.
Mark, Ajax have fallen away since that. It seems a while ago now, doesn't it? 4-0 against Rangers in the opening game in Holland, and you thought, wow, they're one to watch, but they've almost collapsed since then.
Yeah, they really looked the part that night. Although I suspect Rangers made them look better than what they are, because Rangers were well off it. But yeah, I mean, Ajax have taken a couple of hidings, at home to Liverpool, at home to Napoli. But when you look at it from Rangers' point of view, Paul, out of the 6 games in this schedule, this campaign, tonight, on paper, is their easiest game out of the 6. And it's, in some ways, it's unfortunate that the supposed easiest game has come last, because if it would come first rather than being in Amsterdam in game 1, it might be a different story and set a different tone. But it's not. It is what it is. They're here now, and they've got to go and make the most of it, because, as I say, this should be that it's not going to be easy, but it is on paper their easiest game out of the 6.
Some of the other headlines tonight. So Hatate and Kyogo are not included in the Japanese squad for the World Cup, which is only 3 weeks away in Qatar. Celtic reportedly in talks with Leila Bada and Georgios Giakoumakis over improved contracts. And that makes sense, doesn't it, Barry? Sign those two up, Abada and Giakoumakis, with a view to getting a lot out of them and trading them eventually.
Well, you can let them go if he wants.
We'll put that to the vote here.
Certainly 2 of them have impressed. Again, very similar to what I say about a lot of Postecoglou's signings. Didn't know too much about them, but clearly they've certainly impressed. Abada, a young man coming across a different country, his assists and his goals are credit to him. Giakoumakis took him a bit of time to get up to speed, but certainly similar to Sholak, he knows where the back of the net is, and it's difficult to get centre forwards who are like that. The modern day centre forward wants to come and play and join in and be like a kind of number 10, but Giakoumakis wants the ball in the box, very similar to what I says about Sholak. So I'm not surprised that Celtic are sitting them down already and trying to get them in longer term deals.
Mark, you know your way around the media like nobody. You've been around for a few years. I see that there was more transfer speculation. It sounded like media briefing going on behalf of Juranovic, saying, after the World Cup he'll be wanted. So Celtic putting some good news out on Abada and Giakoumakis. Where's it coming from all the time, do you think, about Juranovic?
Well, it was very prevalent in the summer as well, Paul. Non-stop. So it's clearly coming from his side. Now, I'm not saying Juranovic isn't a good player. He is a good player. Is there interest in him? Has there been concrete bids for him? I'm not so sure. So I think it's maybe the agents trying to drum up a bit of interest in him, making sure that he's available. They'll probably have a rough idea of a figure that Celtic would prepared to let him go. But I'd be very surprised if Celtic sold in January, because come the new year, still going to have a title race on. There's not going to be any European football for Celtic, but there's a League Cup semi-final, etc., etc. So I don't see Celtic selling Juranovic, and I don't see any crazy bids coming in for him in January. But he's a quality player. When you get this kind of stuff constantly about playing, it means that they probably want to go. So I would imagine it would be the summer of 2023, Paul.
Barry, we're going to hear from many of the people who've arrived here for the programme tonight. I wonder what they feel. Does anyone think Rangers can win by 5 goals to 0, or is that?
You've got to believe you can do it. I mean, there's no use turning up on the pitch if you don't think you can win 5 goals. Listen, it's a massive ask, certainly in the Champions League. First and foremost, they need to make sure they get points on the board. That's the most important thing. And take it for there. As I said, look, Ajax are going through a sticky patch, Paul, but you've got to remember they are good players. You've seen their performance over in Amsterdam. Even watching the game, Rangers were 5 yards off them, giving them far too much space. And when you give players good space, too much space, they hurt you. So I expect Rangers to bend their faces in a very similar performance to they gave against Aberdeen. That was more like it. That's what the Rangers fans expect. And if they do that tonight, I think they're in with a real good chance of getting points on the board.
Calvin Bassey's had a fair bit of criticism, Mark, over there, hasn't he, from former players of the club? Does that surprise you? And Barry said on the show last night, if he doesn't fancy it there, he'll bring him back to Ibrox.
Of course, you would take Calvin Bassey back. And I mean it with the greatest respect to other players that have come in and other players that have filled in the centre defence are nowhere near the level of Bassey. He was a special player the second half of last season. You know, he grew into a £20 million plus defender. So he's quality. And what you got for Bassey was he was a great defender, Paul. And what Rangers need to do tonight, obviously score first, do that, but defend your set pieces. You look at the amount of goals Rangers have conceded from set pieces. Look at the one that the acres of space Napoli boy got last week. In Amsterdam as well, they get plenty of space too in the opening game. So defend, you know, Leon King, James Sands, defend for your lives inside that penalty area and see how it goes. But try and score first too.
Right, Paul,
you've spotted
5 minutes, right? Am I away?
Is that the Dutch fans just heading over the Squinty Bridge? Or is that the Rangers fans? Is it Rangers fans?
That's
right?
why I said I'll see you in 5 minutes.
Oh, you're going to go and march with them over the bridge? Yep, there's just quite a few there heading across to Ibrox, because we're only a mile away from it here. My goodness. See, you're getting excited.
Yeah, listen,
buzzing.
These nights. Look, we were talking before the show come on. You should really be excited. Both the big tour and the Champions League. Look, it has been disappointing. Let's not beat about the bush. But listen, there's an opportunity tonight for Rangers to get points on the board, and I'm sure once the game starts, we'll be right up for it. Right, barricade the door. Don't let Barry go and join that walk heading to Ibrox Stadium. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to meet some of the Rangers fans here. It's the Go Radio Football Show. Coming up tonight, Rangers against Ajax.
The Go Radio Football Show with MacklinMotors.com, representing some of the biggest motoring manufacturers across Scotland.
Let's go!
This is the Go Radio Football Show with Macklin Motors, live at the Radisson Red. A huge crowd for our Euro night in association with Steen, and we're going to have, we hope, a home win tonight. Douglas joins us from Bearsden. I know I heard a whistle or two there. That's a big ask, the way the campaign's gone, Douglas. How are you feeling about this tonight?
Well, I don't know if we'll turn around a 5-0 result, but I would like to see maybe 3 points on the board. And hopefully the team that turned out at the weekend appears tonight, puts in a better performance, and hopefully that's all we can ask for.
What do you think has happened this season compared to, I know it's Champions League, I know the step up, but that team who did so well against top clubs like Borussia Dortmund or RB Leipzig last season, it's just like a different team, isn't it?
Certainly is, yeah. Last season I think we were spoiled. I don't know, losing the two players, Bassey and Aribo. Well, that's made such a difference to the team, but it appears to be the change of personnel, obviously with Morelos being a wee bit unfit this year.
How do you feel about that as a fan? What do you feel about Morelos?
Disappointed. I think Morelos is a fantastic all-round number 9 for the club, and the sooner he gets back to where he was, the better for us all, I think.
If you sat and met him, what would you say to him? Because you pay so much money. We had Ashley on here last week, and she was saying it's, what was it, nearly £200 for the package?
180.
Yeah, 180 for the package for these 3 games. And you just wonder, does he realise the size of club he's playing for?
Yeah, I'm fairly sure he does. Obviously, it's a massive club. He plays, to the badge. You always see him celebrating with the fans. What I would say to him, I don't know, is pick yourself up, play with a smile, and get the job done.
Let's hear from Giovanni van Bronckhorst speaking about, the fact that it's 5 games so far, 1 goal, no points.
Well, I mean, it will be disappointed, of course, because we knew the opposition we are facing in Champions League is from a much higher level than we faced last season. You can see all the games we played. It's been really tough, and once we qualified in Holland against PSV, I knew it's going to be a really tough European season, as I also had with my old team Feyenoord in Champions League, only get the first 3 points the last game at home against Napoli. So there was similar experience. So it will be disappointing not to get any points. Still one game to be played, but then, we have to switch back to all the domestic competition we are involved still.
Mark, it certainly has been tougher. It's clear it's a level up. But the teams that they played last season were Champions League teams.
Yeah, I mean, Rangers, over a period of 3 years, have had some really big performances, big results against the odds. There was none more so than Borussia Dortmund, of course. Home and away, a lot of drama, Leipzig, etc., etc. So, look, they've been great. But right now, I know the guy sitting beside us, Barry, if he was part of that dressing room, if that was one of his teams that was under Dick Advocaat, Alan McLeish or Walter Smith, two things would be: A, they'd be hurting, and B, he'd be embarrassed. And I'd like to think that's how they'd be feeling in that Rangers dressing room just now. If I'm James Tavernier, Alan McGregor, Steve Davis, I say there's no way I'm coming off this pitch at 10 o'clock tonight as part of a team that's got 0 points after 6 games. Absolutely no way. It's totally unacceptable, regardless of the standard that you're playing against. And guys like Morelos have been part of the problem. Well, now in November, we're talking about Alfredo Morelos getting up to speed. It's an absolute joke. It's a guy who's had chance after chance after chance, and he should be doing better because he is an outstanding number 9. When his mind's on it, he's absolutely outstanding and can put the ball in the net. And if he gets an opportunity to do that tonight, if he's coming off the bench for Chola, he's got to go and show the right attitude.
Just what Douglas says there, he's disappointed. I'm more frustrated with him. It's frustration. For me, he's a terrific number 9, good centre forward, but it's not good enough for him. Rangers need him. Look, Sholak's done well, he scored 14 goals, but for me, Morelos, that's the feeling amongst the Rangers fans, disappointed, frustrated. And you say, as a player of that quality, it's not good enough. It ain't good enough. So hopefully he can get his back on form, because Rangers need him. I honestly still believe that he's the best number 9 at Rangers at this moment in time. But will he play tonight? No, I think you've got to go with Sholak. He's the guy who's got a hold of that jersey just now.
Douglas, you were at the game on Saturday, 50,000 there. And how badly did you want and need that result and that performance?
Oh yeah, it was a huge difference, that performance at the weekend. I like to see the role that Sands played in that role. I thought Sands was outstanding at the weekend. For me, he was my man of the match. But certainly there was a massive improvement there. So it would be good to see that team starting tonight. Maybe Radvan obviously is going to be out. But and let's see how they do against a superior team, so they say.
How quickly football moves, isn't it? Yilmaz, nobody had seen him until about, 2.5 weeks ago. Now he's showing such great promise, and you see why they paid $5 million, but not fit tonight. And you mentioned it last night, the unsung, I'm not going to call him a hero, but James Sands is better than people thought.
I thought he was terrific on Saturday as well. I said to you, he was my man in the match. I think he's come in for unfair criticism at times. He's played centre-half, which is not his natural position, but he played in beside Lundstrom against Aberdeen, and for 45 minutes I thought he was terrific. He anchored in there, done the simple things really well, and then obviously get moved to centre-back in the second half when Ben Davies went off injured. But for me, he's a good player, James Sands, and I believe some of the criticism has been way over the board.
I think as well with James Sands, what you can see is that when the manager gets involved in signings, because the manager identified Sands, American players, no doubt there's been a bit of dialogue with Claudio Reyna, etc., etc. So when the manager gets involved in the signings, he knows a player, he can identify a player, and as Douglas and Barry said there, he was man of the match. And by the way, he's played well in a lot of games. He was really unlucky he gets sent off against Napoli.
Qualifier, PSV.
Exactly.
I thought he was terrific.
He's got it, hasn't he? I mean, he has got it.
Yeah, he's a good player.
What's your point, caller, there, Mark, about when he's involved in the signings? I think we know exactly what you're saying. People don't know quite who's making the signings at Ibrox. Is it Gio's players that are coming in? But that's a great point you've made. You've identified James Sands as his kind of signing, and obviously his network with Claudio Reyna. After that display on Saturday, what kind of confidence does that give you for tonight, Douglas?
Certainly confidence is picked up a bit after that display. Looking more forward to tonight's game. And if we can put on that sort of display again, then let's get back to the levels we were at last year in the run to the Europa League final.
What would you ask Barry? Is there anything you'd want to say to the Rangers legend, great captain, and some of the games? What's one of your favourite games with Barry? Let me throw that to you.
I actually remember seeing Barry when I was about 13 up in Jordan Hill, when I stayed down that neck of the woods.
Were you 13 or he was?
Barry was 13, unfortunately. I was a bit older at the time.
So you saw him play?
Yeah, I seen Barry when he was young. I think he must have been about 13 or 14. I was actually watching his older brother at the time.
Because I was going to say, how did you know? Because you must be a scout. Of course, Derek Ferguson, what a player. So did people say to you, that's his wee brother?
Yeah. Well, I actually noticed Barry at the time and I asked who it was. So, but it was good to see Barry's career with Rangers and how well he done with them.
Did you ever get a share of the transfer money? Because we could maybe do a deal for Douglas here, because he's from Bearsden. I'll tell you, the rates must be high. Sparing his blushes, what a player. And the thing I'm saying as well is, there's not many like Barry Ferguson, but you need somebody in there who's telling them what it's really like and what they should be doing tonight.
Yeah, I don't really know what goes on behind the scenes in the dressing rooms, obviously, and how James Tavernier is speaking to the players. You see some of the documentaries on the televisions nowadays when it's taking you inside the clubs. So you like to see that, and hope that the talks are going on there to try and improve the performances, and fingers crossed it does.
So scoreline, will you be getting ready? You on to the travel agents? Do you think you'll be going to Europa League?
I'm not too sure about that. Certainly went to Seville last year, but I don't know if we'll be heading that way this year.
I thought you still had a bit of a tan there.
I think it's more blushing.
Tanned, it was some trip, wasn't it? Do you pinch yourself? Look, I know, missed out just at the end, but what a special season.
It's unbelievable, absolutely fantastic run to get there. The more that we know and the more confident we grew that we were getting there. And the game against Leipzig at Ajax was just, I don't remember that sort of atmosphere since Dynamo Kiev. And that was fantastic that night.
That's a wee challenge to the fans tonight, isn't it? To make it really special, Fortress Ibrox.
Aye, but I would say first of all it's got to come from the players. To invigorate the supporters, no other way around, Paul. I think the players owe the supporters something. This is a lot of money, 180 quid, £60 a game. It's a massive amount of money, and therefore I think the onus is on Kent, Sakala, Cholak, Arfield. Go and drive the team on, give the fans something to cheer about, because there's no doubt when that Champions League music's going, the fans will be right up for it, and the noise that will be generated will be fantastic. But the players need to go and get the fans up for it, I think, first and foremost. That's the case.
Yeah, but look, the fans will be up for it. They'll create an unbelievable noise at the start before the kick-off. But it's up to the players on the pitch to then kick something off. Whether it's a tackle, whether it's a header, whether it's a good ball, whether it's a cross into the box. It's up to the players on the pitch. And that's what they've done on Saturday, to be fair. I thought they came out the traps really quickly. They forced Aberdeen in to make mistakes, and that's the sort of thing they've got to do. Now, they're going up a couple of levels. Ajax can handle the ball, but they need to go and put them under pressure and go and test them tonight.
Douglas, what's your scoreline?
I would like to think 3-0 to Rangers tonight. So that's what I'm going to go for.
Wow, that could be some atmosphere, and if they get three with 5 minutes to go. Look at the Charlton 2-2 the other night, ended up 4-4.
Well, Ajax have been shipping goals as well in this league this year. So there's no reason if we don't turn up that we can't put some by them. Are
you going to target Calvin Bassey? No, he's been great. What a player for you. But that's out the window now.
I think he was a sad loss to the club. But it'll be good to see him back at Ibrox. I'm sure he'll get a nice round of applause.
Do you think he will? He'll get a good reception?
I think he would, yeah.
Barry, you reckon?
Yeah, I thought last year he just grew into a top player for me. First 6 months of the season he was very good. The last 6 months he was exceptional, and you can see why Ajax came in with £22 million. He's been a big loss. Him and Aribo, Douglas says at the start, they've not replaced him. But in time, I think Ben Davies, he has shown that he's got the qualities. Just picked up another injury, which is disappointing, but I believe he's going to be back for the weekend.
Yeah, he has improved big time. And your manager has said he needs 90 minutes or 90 minutes plus from the players because they switched off. Even the Liverpool game for a while, there wasn't that much in it, and then it became the avalanche of Liverpool goals. They need to play. The Tillmans, you see it in spells, but they need to do it all night.
Yeah, I feel as though obviously the Liverpool game, up until we lost Goldson and Ryan Jack, there were two key players on the night, and it just seemed to collapse. It shouldn't have collapsed, even with losing the two crucial players, to that extent. But I think everything that Salah touched that night just turned to gold for him, You can watch him other games where he'll be in similar positions and not do the same results, So.
It's concentration, Paul. When you're playing at this level, you can't switch off for a second. You switch off for a second, you're done. So that's what happened in the Liverpool game. Albeit Salah was amazing, but there was too many gaps. They were too wide open. You can't do that against quality teams.
Who's going to win this trophy, the Champions League? Who do you think? We know everyone.
I don't know. I mean, when you look at the way Napoli are playing just now, they certainly look a very informed team, and to be sitting at the top of the Serie A is, is phenomenal. The movement of the ball against us the other night was just the last game was phenomenal to watch. Simeone's runs, was good.
And that was without Kvaratskhelia. I just wanted to say his name because I practiced it. Kvaratskhelia.
I think Man City maybe would be my second choice.
Haaland. Yeah, everyone's talking about Man City.
Man City's year. I think Napoli will go far in the tournament because they're the informed team for me in Europe, but I just don't think they'll go the full way. Man City, it's Pep's year.
Do you think Macklin Motors and Steen and everyone will take us? Is there a Radisson Red where the final is, Barry? We could take it on the road.
Take us.
Yes, I'd be delighted to. We'll go. And could Rangers be in Europa League? Well, 3-0, that would be coming close tonight. Douglas, yeah?
Well, certainly if you get some early goals, and you've seen what's happened in the run to Europa League last year, you get the early goal and all of a sudden the crowd is up, and what can happen from there? At the end of the day, you need 4 to tie it. Well, I think obviously something else will come into factor to put Ajax through, but certainly we do need the 5. Which I think is going to be a tall ask, but you never know. Fingers crossed.
And obviously, you don't want that record of the worst this year or the worst ever. I don't like to dwell on that because there's enough bad news around, isn't there?
But that's a motivation. Sitting in the dressing room just now, boys will be walking about. I'll be mentioning that every single minute before I go out of that kick-off. We need to make sure we get at least a point. If no, the most important thing is getting the 3 points. And I think Rangers are capable tonight, albeit missing some important players. I just think there's an air of confidence after that performance. They needed a performance like that. They were really aggressive on Saturday as well, which I love to see, which I've not seen in the Rangers team over the last 3 or 4 weeks. There was a real aggression, and if they bring that tonight, they get an early goal, the fans they'll go absolute crazy. Then you never know what could happen. But it's a massive, massive ask. 5 goals.
Douglas, really important moment for you. You can choose what you're having to eat here in the Radisson Red. We'll talk to you later after the game.
He's just desperate to drink his pint. He's not had a sip at it yet.
Really good there. Yeah, great. Douglas, thanks for joining us. We're back. We're only an hour and 50 minutes away from kick-off. Rangers against Ajax.
The Go Radio Football Show with MacklinMotors.com, representing some of the biggest motoring manufacturers across Scotland.
Let's go!
This is the Go Radio Football Show with Macklin Motors here, just 5 minutes away from Ibrox because we're on a special Euro nights with our friends at Steen. The podcast will be on later, and we're in the Radisson Red. Just about 10 minutes ago, there was certainly many, many hundreds of that. We reckon it was the Dutch fans. It's so dark we couldn't see, but we saw a few flashing lights and they headed over the Squinty Bridge. It's always great to see people back in town because, Barry, it's not much more than a year ago. It was COVID and we were all being locked up and Matt Hancock was telling us what to do. What about him, in the jungle? My goodness. So, not far enough. He's not here at the game tonight. Where are we going with this? We're going to speak to Ross, who's joined us.
I don't know where you're going with us.
It's great to see 50,000 tonight.
Do you know what? Listen, you just mentioned that they're COVID, no fans allowed in stadiums. Listen, that's what it's all. Fans make the game. You need fans inside the stadium. And tonight, listen, it's Champions League. The atmosphere will be electric, and hopefully Rangers can get what they need. And that's 3 points and 5 goals.
Ross joins us. Ross, you're a teacher.
Yes.
And you played a wee bit of football as well. But Ross, and you're going to the game tonight. So
just heading over in the next maybe half an hour, 40 minutes.
Great. We'll get you something before you go.
That's it.
So what are you feeling about tonight? What do you want to say to Mark and to Barry?
I think it's just kind of, as fans, you want to expect a performance from them. I think this season, and I think the guys have touched on it earlier in the week, it's been a bit pedestrian, you know. A lot of the performances, you're kind of waiting for something to happen. And it's a wee bit side to side, and you know, no much creativity within the team. And I know that obviously we're missing a few players, etc. Your Tom Lawrence, and with obviously with Aribo moving on, I think the new guys that have maybe been brought in haven't quite hit the heights that would maybe been expected. So it's just a case of you know, an expectation of going out and delivering tonight. You know,
who do you expect to deliver for Rangers? I mean, we think we know the team. We don't know it for sure, but you know the way Rangers will line up.
I think you're looking at your creative players, so you're wanting Kent. You know, I think his name's on the tip of everyone's tongue and just ready. When's he going to ignite again? You know, I think there's an expectation from him to produce every day, or, you know, every game. And unfortunately, this season it's not happened yet. You know, and players do go through times and dips, and you know, like Barry will know. You know, that you go through times where you're not playing well. However, you know, these are the guys, and they're playing at that level because you're expecting them to perform day in, day out, you know, and that's kind of, you're hoping he's one of the ones who steps up tonight.
Mark, what about Ryan Kent for you then tonight? How big is this game for him as an opportunity? For a contract?
Paul, I would sell Ryan. I'd try and get what I could for him in January. I just think that there's got to be better than that out there for Rangers now, you know, moving forward. I think this is a conversation that Ross has mentioned that we've had time after time after time after time. And so when is it going to happen? How long do you wait? How long do you give a guy? He is hugely talented, but maybe he just needs a change. Maybe he needs something different, and maybe Rangers need to bring in something different. So he's out of contract in the summer. If he's not going to sign a new deal, which I don't think he would, depends what kind of options he's got right enough. Maybe Rangers is his best option in terms of size of club, where he's going to be playing, and salary too. But Kent, unfortunately, I don't go into games with Rangers now expecting Kent to do something. So if he's going to do something, he's going to surprise me. I don't expect him to be part of it. But one thing about the team in general, Paul, having gone a goal down on Saturday to Aberdeen, and the way they come back, and Barry spoke about the level of performance and how well they played, and they could have scored 7 or 8. That tells me one thing: they're still playing for the manager. That they've still got it in that dressing room to play for the manager, that they've not down tools for him.
Barry, I think you've got first sight of the Rangers team.
Yeah, it's the team we mentioned. Yep, Alan McGregor in goals, Tavernier, King, Sands, Barisic, a midfield three, Davis, Arfield, Tillman, Sakala, Sholak and Kent. I think with the number of injuries, that was the only team he could probably put out. And look, I still think there's enough quality in that. You look at with Davis in the middle of the park, so much experience. He'll just anchor in there and allow Darfield and Tillman to go and hopefully be the creative one to produce the front three with chances. But in terms of Ryan Kent, just really frustrating. Similar to the Morelos situation, he's frustrated me all season. I still think there's a real top player in there. Yeah. But I'm getting to the stage where I think maybe it's better for both sides that they part ways. Yeah. Best for Ryan's career going forward, and obviously Rangers to look elsewhere. But listen, I hope tonight's the night that he brings back a top performance.
And you can remember the good times, but tonight is huge
listen,
for him.
I do. I think he's a hugely talented boy. I just think he's really low in confidence just now. And when I look at, I don't know him personally, but when I look at him, he looks to me if he's a real deep boy, and you don't get much out of him. I don't know whether the boys in the dressing room, the experienced ones, have tried to put an arm round about him, but there has been a clear loss for him. But I hope tonight he gets that spark. And listen, if Ryan Kent brings a spark to the game, he can bring that bit of magic and win you.
Ross, you'll be there. Do you think, can you see Ryan Kent? He takes on Calvin Bassey, gets past him, plays it in for Cholak, 1-0.
I hope so. I think, Barry will know more than anyone. The expectation at Rangers is very different from a lot of the clubs around the world. Even going to your English Premier Leagues, etc., and even Steven Gerrard, the likes of going to Aston Villa, they can lose, they can draw, they can have ups, they can have downs, but when you're playing with Rangers, you've got to win every game, and it doesn't matter who you're playing. And I think Ryan Kent, with his lack of confidence, it doesn't suit the Rangers' way as such, so I hope that he's able to turn it around, and when he does, he's a game winner, he's a game changer, and he can go on, and he can do things that no one else can. But unfortunately, I think as we've discussed, it's happening, few and far between. But here's hoping tonight is the night, and I think everyone will be everyone will be behind him to do it, but it's just whether he can do it or not. And I think the likes of Cholak, he's an out-and-out number 9, probably he's not a fantastic football player, I don't think, but he's a fox in the box, and that's that's what you need to do. Give him the service and he'll put the ball in the net.
You've got 2 keepers, as expected, McCrory and McLaughlin, Matondo, Kamara, Morelos, Wright, Devine, Fraser, Lowry and Allen. The Ajax team, Pasveer, the goalkeeper, Timber, Bassey, Alvarez, Vindal, Bergwijn, Taylor, Tadic the captain, Sanchez, Kudus and Berghuis. Still strong, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you look at that, potentially that front four. We spoke about the front four that Liverpool had in the couple of games. And again, you're looking at Bergwijn, you're looking at Tadic, you're looking at Kudus, you're looking at Bergwijn. I mean, they are all top players, Paul. They could go out and hurt any team, but that's not been the problem. The problem's been defensively. For Ajax, so that's where Rangers have got to have confidence to go and get at them, get in behind them, take them on, be confident, be brave. But at the other end, with that 4, if you think particularly Kudus, centre forward, I thought he was terrific in the first game, and he's a top player. He's going to go on to bigger and better things. Bergwijn, obviously, we know about, decent career at Spurs. You've got Bergwijn as well, and Tadic is obviously the captain and a supremely talented footballer. So certainly, that Ajax team certainly get goals in them.
As the Bears come in here at the Radisson Red, some of them, one of them maybe for you, Ross, you're there all the time. What was your favourite moment as a Rangers fan over the years?
I think there's been many. Over the years, I kind of grew up as a young lad in the kind of 90s when the Rangers were winning, and then obviously through kind of going through the noughties, etc. Then things changed. But I think even just as a Rangers fan, 55 last, that was a relief, So that was certainly.
You don't look it. 55.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
No.
A good paper round.
Is that indeed? No, it's been horrendous. What's your one favourite game, would you think?
One favourite game, I think it was maybe the 4-2 at Parkhead. Pedro Mendes, Kenny Miller. I think that was an exceptional game for me, just in terms of watching, etc. I thought we played really well on the day, dominated at Celtic in their own kind of in their own patch,
Is all of this forgotten? Even if Rangers didn't get anything tonight, if you can go back and keep on the tails of Celtic and come back and regain a title? Yeah,
I think that's it. It's in terms of going through for the Europa League. I don't know, as a fan, I want to see Rangers win tonight, but then it's almost like a double-edged sword. Do we continue on in Europe with the squad that we've got and the injuries we've got, and Celtic now out of Europe? They continue in the league and they're fresh every Saturday. It's one of the ones. What is it we want now? If Celtic were going through into Europa League, certainly I'd be saying let's go and push for it. But I think if we went through, yes, you're delighted. You're getting more money into the club. However, I think it would potentially impact us domestically. With Celtic being fresh every week and Rangers, potentially toiling with injuries, etc. So it's one of the ones I certainly want to see us go through and never want to see us kind of lose. However, I would have my reservations around us kind of progressing.
I think, Ross, if Rangers had to win 5-0 tonight, everybody would be in such a high. You wouldn't be thinking about it, because you'd only maybe looked at one more round anyway. But first and foremost, to get 3 points on the board, and it's worth a couple of £1 million. It's a lot of money to go and win tonight.
I think a lot of
£2.8 million. You're right, closer to 3 actually you get for winning the league here.
I think it affects your coefficient as well. So
exactly.
So I mean,
which we
financially, that money tonight, a win could be the difference between Giovanni getting a right good player in January.
Big clubs want to be in everything.
Yeah, but listen, it's going to be a big ask. Listen, the ideal scenario is to get points on the board tonight, get a win tonight, and then the last 3 domestic games, maximum points. You go into that World Cup break, you get the injured players back, and hopefully Gio would go into the transfer market and be allowed to bring in a couple of players to strengthen, not just the squad, strengthen the starting 11.
Well, we gave you the Rangers team first last night, then Mark did it again this evening, and it's absolutely right. What do you think the scoreline's going to be, Ross?
I'm going to say, I worry a wee bit at the back for us, that is as strong as Mark kind of was speaking about. It's a strong front line for Ajax, and they're exceptional football players, and they move the ball extremely quickly. and we've got a very kind of, what would you say, novice back
Makeshift
line.
as well, yeah.
Makeshift,
What about Leon King? I know you'd want to
he's
say
a good young player, but I think watching him over the past couple of weeks, I think there's still a lot of development within him. As an experienced player, I think could take advantage of his, the things that he needs to work on. And unfortunately, I think we may come up short tonight. I hope the crowd get behind us. I hope we do start well, and I think that's important for the game. If we take the lead and an early lead at that, I think we can push on and maybe go on and see what happens for there, and if Ajax can handle the atmosphere and the pressure. But if Ajax go ahead, also Ibrox can be a
unforgiving
place where the crowd can get on the back. And as I say, it's the pressure of playing for Rangers as you win every game, and I think it's important that players who come into the club and are part of the club are ready for that, and at this moment in time there's maybe a few that are a bit far away from it.
Yeah, the Matondos, etc. Tillman, you've seen him in flashes. So scoreline wise tonight, what's your
scoreline?
score?
I'm going to say I'm going to go for 2 each.
2 each. Barry, what do you feel?
Yeah, I said last night.
Yep.
I think 3-2 Rangers. I think there's going to be a few goals in it. The two centre backs, they don't worry me, but just the inexperience of Leon King. Look, I think he's done terrific for an 18-year-old. With some of the teams he's come up against and some of the places he had to go and play. James Sands as well. Again, I thought he was terrific on Saturday. He's not a centre half, so that's the area where I think Ajax could exploit if they're on their game. But listen, I'm going to go with my heart and say 3-2 Rangers.
Mark, I'm going to ask you after the news, which is coming up next. So your food's coming, I believe, and then you
hopefully
and Douglas will be heading to the. Where's your seat in the ground? Where are
the club
you?
day. I'm using my father's. He goes to the games on the Saturdays, and he's in Cyprus, so I'm reaping the benefits.
Oh, wonderful! Yeah. So. And I hear your favourite show is obviously the Go Radio Football Show, followed by Friday night. Zoe Kelly, terrific show, isn't it?
Oh, she's great. She's fantastic.
She bangs out the hits, doesn't she?
Seems like it. I would recommend it to everyone.
There is a connection there, that's all we're saying. Thanks very much for joining us, Ross.
If he never says that, I think he would have
exactly. The missus would be, she wouldn't miss him. Thanks very much.
I'll pick a playlist, that's what
yeah. Well, we love those bangers at 7. Thanks very much. We're going to take a break. It's going to be the news, and then we're back, and we'll just be an hour away from kick-off. Rangers up against Ajax.
There's a new name for Toyota in Lanarkshire.
From one of the UK's biggest names in motor retail.
Macklin Motors Toyota is now open in Hamilton.
We're bringing you everything Toyota backed by first-class service.
So come and view the stunning new Toyota range, all with up to 10 years warranty.
Including the Igo Cross and the new Yaris Cross compact SUV.
See our great choice of approved used Toyotas.
Our formidable range of commercial vehicles, including the Hilux.
Get expert servicing from our manufacturer-trained technicians.
And specialist advice from our Motability team.
Macklin Motors Toyota is open now
at Whistlebury Road, Hamilton.
The Go Radio Football Show with MacklinMotors.com, representing some of the biggest motoring manufacturers across Scotland.
Let's go!
And the calls are live and in person tonight because this is the Go Radio Football Show with Macklin Motors, Paul Cooney, Barry Ferguson, Mark Guidi, and we're live at the Radisson Red for Euro Nights in association with Steen. Hundreds of Rangers fans heading past here, heading to Ibrox. Excitement mounting ahead of the Rangers-Ajax game. We've got some news from Celtic, who flew out to Madrid today for the match tomorrow evening, early evening, remember. 6 o'clock the game starts. Tomorrow evening against Real Madrid. But a blow for Celtic. Cameron Carter-Vickers not on the flight today. So, Mark Guidi, that's the breaking news this evening. And that's bad news for Celtic. Obviously, no Callum McGregor. We've known that for weeks. But Carter-Vickers, that's a big one for Celtic.
Yeah, he's been the stand-in captain, taking the place of McGregor, and he's handled the role very well. So, the imagine it'll be Joe Hart will be skipper tomorrow night. But it means there's going to be a new central defensive partnership. Whoever goes in beside Maurice Jens, whether it's Stephen Welsh or whatever the manager decides to do, he's got a decision to make. But it's a blow because of the threat that Real Madrid have got going forward. You'd want Cameron Carter-Vickers in the team.
Yep, Celtic will get 2 points so far. Rangers tonight up against Ajax. Celtic tomorrow night, by the way, it's 5:45 the kick-off, so we'll be on air 4 until 6. Mark, you've got the Rangers team. Barry revealed it last night and it's been confirmed by Giovanni.
He did, yeah, spot on. Giovanni's listened to Barry, he's taken his advice on board, and he has gone with McGregor in goals, a back four of Tavernier, King, Sands and Barisic, a midfield three of Davis, Arfield and Tillman, and it's Sakala and Kent in either wing with Cholak through the middle.
Ali joins us. Ali from Paisley, welcome to the show.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. Hopefully we're looking after you here at Radisson Red. What do you think of the Rangers lineup?
I think after watching the game on Saturday, I thought Sakala was outstanding, and he's been quite unfortunate to find himself out of the starting lineup, so it's good to see him get his chance.
Confidence seemed to be back for him.
Yeah, I thought that's the best performance I've seen from Sakala in a Rangers jersey. Yep, he was. There was an end product in Saturday, which probably when you look at Sakala, he lacks. But no, I thought he was bang at it. Very direct. You know what he's all about. He's got unbelievable pace. But his final ball into the box really impressed me. So, yep, I'm not surprised that Sakala's in the starting lineup.
Ali, what's the view from the terracing or the stand as it will be at Ibrox about the manager? I mean, there's been so much written, said about him. How do you feel about GVB?
I don't know, I've got mixed emotions about him because I loved him as a player. I feel the results haven't been good enough so far, but you can't write off the fact that he went to a Europa League final last year. So I feel he deserves a chance to turn it around this year. And he's not really been backed with transfer funds, so it'd be good to see him get a bit of money and try and sign his own players.
Yeah, that's a frustration among the Rangers fans, certainly the ones that I speak to, is the dealings in the transfer market. And I said that a couple of weeks ago. I'm surprised that there's been no Dutch players brought in. I know it's a very good market. I know that there's real good quality players in the leagues, and the Rangers manager knows the league inside out. Obviously, we're managing there with Feyenoord and obviously being from Holland. So I just hope he gets a good result tonight, gets 3 good positive results leading into the World Cup break. Hopefully the injured players will come back in, and then January the 1st he'll be given a bit of funds to go and strengthen. And I keep saying this, know the squad, the starting 11.
You can't afford to drop any points, Ali, clearly in the league, and get to the World Cup and then take it from there 3-4 weeks later.
Yeah, no, they definitely need to win every single game up until the World Cup. Then they'll hopefully, if there's still 4 points in it, then it gives us a chance. There's not a great deal of difference, and there's a lot of injuries just now as well. So you look at the injuries, you're probably talking a team that would probably potentially start for Rangers. So if they can get some of these players back, then you might see something different, because there's going to be a lot of points dropped before the end of the season.
I think the 3 games, starting with Hearts, St Johnstone on Sunday, Hearts on Wednesday, and then St Mirren away, and then you've got 3 games before the Old Firm, Paul. So that's another 9 points. So there's 18 points up for grabs before you play Celtic, which is at Ibrox. So you've got to win that game. If you're going to win the league, you've got to beat Celtic at Ibrox. And if you do that, potentially it's 1 point of a difference. And it's right at the start of the transfer window. That's the ideal opportunity for Giovanni Van Bronckhorst to go to the board and say, back me. Because Celtic, for me, won the league because of what they did in the January transfer window. They recruited well. You look at Rangers' last 3 windows, Giovanni's first one in January, and then Steven Gerrard's last one. They weren't great. You could argue, actually, they were poor. They get plenty of bodies in July and August, but lacking in quality. Probably only 2, Cholak and Lawrence.
See the difference with Celtic's recruitment? 1st of January.
Yeah,
they were in.
Right. That's right.
They were through the door. I don't want to see waiting to the 31st.
Yeah.
You've got to get them in as quickly as possible, and that's what I'm sure that Gio's identified where he needs to strengthen and who he wants to bring in, and hopefully he's given the funds. But it's key you get them in as early as possible, and that's one thing you've got to give Postecoglou credit for. He gets them in as soon as they can get in.
Because he tells the club, Barry. He tells the Barry, I want them. and they daren't let him down, and that's where Giovanni's got to get to, whether it's a relationship directly with Ross Wilson or going above Ross Wilson and directly to the board. He's got to be really, really strong and put demands, because if they don't meet his demands, it's him that suffers. He's out of job.
Yeah, Ange Postecoglou, it looks as though he says, this is what I want. Look at today, talks starting with Abada and Giakoumakis with a view to improving their contracts. But at Rangers, I mean, when you look back on this year, then you'll think of Ryan Kent and Alfredo Morelos, where the contracts have run down. We're now in November. At the end of next month, they can go. Well, the following day, the news could come out.
They're in control now.
Yep.
They two players are in control of the situation. If Rangers can turn around and say, look, we want them out the door in January, they've got every right to turn around and say, no, look, I'll just wait till the summer. And I'm very surprised that they've let it run down this long. I thought in the summer, and I said when we started the show in the summer, I'd expected in the next couple of weeks to either know that they're going to be staying or going. Now, the players are unfortunately in control of the situation, and I'm very surprised that Rangers have allowed the similar situation that happened with Golson. I know Golson re-signed, but there was a real danger you could have lost him. But that's players that you brought in. What was Ryan Kent? £8 million. Going to get nothing for him, it looks like. And Morelos, he was only what, £1 million. But still, you could have got big bucks for them.
You could have got minimum 15. You could have got 15 2 years. And,
sure.
and we find that the club, deserve to be applauded for knocking it back at that time. But when you look at it now, and okay, they've learned a lesson, I think, in terms of how they've handled Aribo and Bassi, but that's part of being a successful football club. And I know fans will want to see their best players sold, but you need to sell them, and you need to sell them at the right time, and that's part of the trick of being successful.
Ali, you're a long-time Rangers fan tonight. Just looking at who's going to match up against whom, then young Mohamed Kudus, the Ajax striker, up against Stephen Davis at times. And what would you want to say about the man who'll be 38, Davis, what he's done for your club?
He's a legend. He's an absolute legend. He's obviously played for so many years, played with yourself, Barry, and a brilliant servant. But he's now, his time's come and gone. He's still filling in brilliantly, but at the same time, the young team should be coming in now. There should be some guys coming through for the youths to maybe fill in. But he's obviously a great experienced servant for the club, and hopefully he can maybe step into a coaching role next year. But he's definitely, I think his time's come and gone now. But he's in my opinion.
Barry?
Listen, I know him really well. He's a quality operator for me, and to be still playing at this level at his age, the way he looks after himself, he still looks fit as a fiddle. Yet he might not have the wee burst that he had maybe 5-10 years ago. That's just natural because you get older. But he's still a brilliant footballer. He's been a brilliant player for Rangers. And starting tonight, I think he's going to be so important to Rangers, just to sit in there and dictate the tempo of the game and use his experience.
And Mark, what the other players can learn from Stephen Davis?
I mean, particularly tonight, Paul, I mean, it's no, being able to keep the ball is the most important thing in European football, and there's nobody better at Ibrox than Stephen Davis at doing that. And even just your 7-8 yard passes, he makes it look easy. It keeps the ball, it keeps possession, it tires the opposition, and then you let your other guys, you let your Tillmans or your Sakalas go and have that burst and create chances. But Davis will just patrol that area, particularly as we're spoken about. It's a new partnership with Leon King and James Sands. It's an inexperienced partnership. And I think at times in the big games, particularly in Naples, albeit Napoli are a quality team, but I don't think the experienced players protected King enough. I think they left him exposed too often. So tonight, protect the young man. Don't let him, look like the fall guy. Tavernier on that side of the pitch, Davis, coming in there too, Sands, Alan McGregor behind him. Make sure that Leon King feels as comfortable as possible, and they've all got a role to play in that.
Ajax have arrived at the ground. I don't think that's who we saw crossing the bridge. They wouldn't have walked, Barry, would they? But they're at the ground. First out, I know you can guess, the first player from Ajax to walk down the tunnel at Ibrox.
Bassi.
Indeed. Yeah. Calvin Bassi led them out just a few moments ago. So they...
I'm so surprised the level of criticism he's getting over in Holland. Obviously seen him with the Rangers game in Amsterdam, watched him down at Anfield when Ajax went to Liverpool, and you obviously keep a keen eye on him, how he's done. And I've watched a couple of games over in the Dutch League, and he's impressed me. So I was astonished that some people were criticising him, but for me, he's a fantastic player. Brilliant. What was that? £200,000 they got him from Leicester, and he just turned into an awesome player for me. I thought last year he just grew and grew, and as the season went on, he get better and better. And he's a big loss, but look, £22 million. You could never knock that back, and it'll be good to see him. I'm sure the Rangers fans will give him a good reception before the game, but once that whistle starts, he'll not be getting any kind of reception.
The bank manager will give him a good applause as well, won't he? From 200 grand to 20 million. That's 100 times.
He's a phenomenal athlete as well. See, I believe in a couple of years he could easily play down top 6 in the Premier League. That's how good I think he could be.
Ali, what's going to happen tonight then? What do you reckon?
I would say, I think Rangers will win tonight, but I don't think they'll win 5-0. Maybe 2-0.
2-0, you reckon?
2-0, yeah.
And who's going to be the scorers? Čolak, he's in the squad for Croatia yesterday, the preliminary squad.
Yeah.
That gave him a boost, and then a goal at the weekend.
Yeah, probably Čolak would be the obvious one. Yeah, Čolak, I would have said. Yeah.
And who else? Could it be the night for Ryan Kent? We keep going back to him, don't we?
Because he's going through a tough time, and I don't like seeing that in players. He's suffering a wee bit just now. He's getting a bit of criticism, and listen, that's what happens when you play at Rangers, I'm afraid. The expectation and demands put on your shoulders, but he's a player that you can see he's clearly suffering, and you know what, I would love him to go and amazing run and beat a couple and just pop one in the back of the net.
Rangers are aiming to avoid joining the list of 22 clubs to have lost all 6 games in a UEFA Champions League group. They would be the first to suffer 6 defeats since AEK Athens in 2018-19, although Victoria Plens in Group C this season could suffer the same fate this season. Mark, we sincerely hope that's not the case. What's your scoreline prediction tonight?
I think I'm going to agree with Ross and go 2-2. I think Rangers can win it tonight, but I just think with the players that they've got missing, Paul, and just that back four, the centre of it, it's a new partnership, and with the attacking prowess that Ajax have, I think they'll score tonight. But Rangers can also score, and I want to see Kent go and do it, because when he's on it, he's the most exciting player at Rangers, one of the most exciting players in the country. And if he can get a wee spark, if he can just get a wee run, get at the full back, get a ball over, or get a shot in and goal against Pazvir, then that might just set him up for the rest of the 90 minutes. You've got to believe that tonight can be a turning point for Ryan Kent and go and be inspirational for a Rangers victory.
Well, it's goals then. You think 2-2, Barry, you think 3-2 Rangers, and did you say 2-0 or
2-0?
2-0, yeah. So from you, a couple of mild surprises in the lineup. I'm getting this from the UEFA site. It's not my homework. They've rested the 2 fullbacks, Blind and Rensch. They've got Vindal and Sanchez, but that's not going to make. Is it going to make much difference? I wonder why they've rested.
Well, they never had a game at the weekend. The Dutch league gave them the weekend off to go and prepare for the game tonight at Ibrox.
But you're happy that Rangers had a game at the weekend, aren't you? Yeah. You were happy that Rangers played.
As a footballer, I would rather play.
And look at the confidence, winning 4-0.
Yeah, listen,
4-1.
For me, it was back to what you expect to a Rangers team. I really enjoyed the game, and as I said, I'll use one word. There was a bit of aggression about them, and that's what they've lacked over the last 4 or 5 weeks. And there was some good individual performance, but I thought collectively as a group, they showed that they had to go and prove a point, and they done that with a good performance. But listen, this is up a couple of levels. Albeit Rangers were good, Aberdeen were really poor, but they're coming up against a team who have got quality players in it. So Rangers need to be on it tonight, and hopefully they are.
Ali, thanks for joining us. We'll speak to you later. The great news for you is the pizzas have arrived, and they're magnificent.
Oh, they smell fantastic.
They're amazing. Thanks, Ali. You're going for 2-0 Rangers. Well, we gave you the team earlier. We'll hear again from GVB. The talking is almost over, not too far away from kick-off. It's a wee bit quieter just now because many of the fans have headed out to the game itself, but we've got a good core here. Standing room only still. We could describe it as that. We could. But we've been looked after Radisson Red. Quick break and then we're back live for Rangers against Ajax.
The Go Radio Football Football Show with MacklinMotors.com, representing some of the biggest motoring manufacturers across Scotland.
Let's go! This is the Go Radio Football Show with our friends at Macklin Motors. Paul Cooney here, Mark Guidi, and the Rangers legend, Barry Ferguson, and quite a number of Rangers fans as well. We're going to watch the game here, and then we'll do the podcast from the Radisson Red with our friends at Steen, one of Scotland's top electrical and mechanical engineering companies. Many people joining us here and enjoying a bite to eat before the game. So we'll go back to it, obviously, very shortly. You've got the team news. We've heard from GVB. And we gave the news about 20 minutes ago. Celtic flew out to Madrid today, the short flight for the game in one of the great football stadia in the world, in the Bernabeu. But a big blow for Celtic, which you brought to us, is that they flew without Cameron Carter-Vickers. Mark, you've been doing some digging. What's happened?
Yeah, he's picked up a little strain from the game on Sunday at Livingston. Obviously, the 4G pitch, Paul, something that can do that to your body. So, we've been speaking a lot tonight about Rangers and their need and their desire to go and take 9 points out of 9 before the World Cup break. And it's the exact same story for Celtic. They don't have anything to play for tomorrow night. They don't have any light at the end of the tunnel other than the pride and the financial reward of nearly £3 million for trying to win the game. But they also want to make sure that they've got their players available for their final 3 games before the World Cup break, because they want to keep that 4-point lead at the top of the table.
A big night then for Moritz Jens, because Karl Starfelt back training, not yet fully fit, and Stephen Welsh is at a knock. So,
I think Jens is a capable defender. I prefer him to Starfelt. I think that Jens and Carter-Vickers would be my first choice. So look, somebody's going to get a chance to get in tomorrow night. Paul's a chance for maybe somebody to make a name for themselves, emerge as a hero. Depends who you're going to be up against as well. But whoever it's going to be that Carlo Ancelotti puts through the middle as the number 9, he's got I'm sure of the potential to give the Celtic centre halves a torrid time.
Every time you mention, of course, Karl Starfelt, I think of our own Davy Provan, now in Spain. Yeah. And of course, Davy, he pinpointed he didn't think that, he thought he would be suspect at times, but he did have a good season. And Davy, of course, played in the Bernabeu for Celtic back in the European Cup, when Celtic just missed out, having beaten them in Glasgow. Yep. But we'll talk more about that tomorrow. Also, the news from Celtic. Well, in fact, let's hear from Ange Postecoglou. He had the big win at the weekend. Barry, you were impressed by them at Livingston. They looked, and they had to be in good form after Rangers' result on Saturday. But Celtic, Cameron Carter-Vickers, your reaction to his exclusion? He's missing it tomorrow.
Yeah, for me, he's Celtic's most important defender. He's obviously took over the captaincy when Callum McGregor's been out injured, and it makes it even more difficult now for Celtic tomorrow night and Madrid, because Real Madrid want to finish top of the group, Paul. Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to be a long night for Celtic, if I'm being honest with you.
It's going to be a tough game tomorrow. Let's hear from the manager, and he was really pleased with the result and the performance at Livingston.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a real sort of strong performance. We all know it's a difficult place to come. They make it really difficult for you with the way they play and how hard they work, and obviously the surface as well. But I think our boys handled it really well, and we scored 3, probably could have had a few more, but really pleased with the way we went about it and the performance.
And the third goal coming from Jota, an assist from Turnbull. The manager spoke about the Portuguese star, Jota.
Yeah, great for him. It's been a bit disappointed he missed the last few games, because obviously he knew how important they were and he was going well. He had a great start to the season. But yeah, great to have him back. We've still got 4 games between now and the break, and then with the break, him getting back to full sort of fitness and speed, it'll be great for us.
How good is Jota, Barry, in your book?
He's decent.
Jota, go on.
No, he's good. Listen, I'm not going to take all the joking aside. He's what a find he's been for Celtic. You seen it last year. He was hungry to obviously go and impress, because he had very little game time at Benfica, and I thought he was exceptional last year, and he's carried it on this season. Albeit he's been injured there for 5 weeks, he come back in. Made a cameo appearance against Livingston, and he gets the goal. But Celtic paid £6.8 million for him. I think if he continues that sort of form, I think Celtic will struggle to keep holding him.
Douglas and Ross have just left the building. They joined us earlier. That's not Douglas Ross, the assistant referee and politician.
Don't go there.
It's Douglas and Ross who are off to the game. We're here tucking in. Final thought for Celtic tomorrow. It's going to be really tough, obviously, against Real Madrid. And I guess for Celtic, they will be thinking, how did we manage not to get into at least the Europa League this season?
Yeah, and I think to be in the position they're in with a game to go will be bitterly disappointing, because they have put a lot into their games. They were on the front foot. They created a lot of chances. We all know that. They were very brave. They entertained. But the bottom line is only get 2 points, Paul. But they will be better for the experience. But Real Madrid need to win the game, remember. Otherwise they're in danger of not finishing top of the group. So, Ancelotti, he's a master, Paul. He knows how to get a job done. These players, I mean, they're European champions. They should have a fairly comfortable night at home tomorrow. But, let's hope that Celtic can go and make a game of it and try and get at least another point in the board.
And we should remind people that Hatate and Kyogo, they're not in the Japanese squad for the World Cup.
I'll tell you, Japan must have some squad.
Yeah.
Japan must have some squad if they can afford to leave the pair of them out.
I mean, look, Kyogo, he's definitely lit Celtic Park up. But see Hatate, I think another season or two, he could be a proper midfielder. I like him. I think he's. It's interesting to see what Postecoglou was saying about him. He was very late into the pro game. I think it was 21 or 22, and he's only 24 now. I think with a bit more experience, a bit more game time, he could be a top midfielder. I already think he's very good. I still think he needs to go and do it over a period of time, but he's certainly one player that's impressed me. Good passing range as well.
A brilliant player. The final word on this game, Vinicius Junior has been saying, listen, Celtic shouldn't be bottom of that group. He obviously played against them some weeks ago, probably play tomorrow, but he's come to the defence of the team. But is that easy to say when you're about to play? Is that a pat in the head? And
it can be patronising. I mean, let's be honest, Vinicius Junior, does he really care when Celtic on the group? They don't care. Does he care for Shakhtar?
Is he a Celtic or a Rangers fan?
I don't know. We'll find out what school he went to. But I don't think. I don't think that they're really concerned at all. They'll get asked a question and they'll be polite. But the bottom line is Real Madrid will just want to go out and win the game tomorrow night to make sure that they finish top of the section.
Barry, it's 7:30. You 30 minutes away from kick-off. Rangers against Ajax. It was a little bit quieter earlier on. I think the Rangers fans were being maybe reflective. What are you feeling now?
Yeah, listen, I always get excited when it gets nearer game time. No doubt about it. Just a bit, I wouldn't say flat, just with obviously the way that the group stage has went. I did fully expect, when I seen the group, it's a tough group, but I expected Rangers to have at least a couple of points on the board, especially knowing what Champions League nights are like at Ibrox. Away from home's a different story when you're coming up against good quality teams, Paul. It's always a big ask, but at Ibrox, look, 45 minutes against Liverpool, 60 minutes against Napoli, it was good, but I still didn't think they'd done enough in the minutes that I just mentioned there. So, look, they've got 90 minutes tonight to go and put a performance on and go and make sure they get points on the board, and as I said, hopefully it's the 3 points.
Because where could the points have been taken? I guess it's in Amsterdam, that first game.
Yeah, you would look to at least maybe take a point over there, but I think the previous game to that, the Old Firm game at Celtic Park, clearly hurt the players. They were affected by it. They sat off Ajax. I remember watching the game in here, they were 5 yards off them. It was like they gave them too much respect. Yep. So I think since that Celtic game, they have been hurt. Yep. Since that has clearly affected them. Yep. But maybe now they're starting to turn the corner with that performance they had at home against Aberdeen at Ibrox.
That night in Amsterdam, I mean, I'm a big fan of Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. I'll defend him, I think he's a quality manager. But if I was going to criticise him, it would be for his shape and the way he went about his business at Amsterdam, because he should have detected his team and known his team were hurting and were down after what happened to them at Celtic Park just 72 hours earlier. And for that point, he should have gone to that opening game and showed it up. Like what would have done, Barry? He just go and showed it up. This is make sure we don't lose an early goal. 5 at the back, like he did at Liverpool. 5 at the back. Let's get out of Amsterdam with a point. Get a point in the board. Recover from Saturday's Old Firm defeat and move on.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Let's speak to Stuart, a Rangers fan who's joining us now. How are you?
Not too bad, how are you?
Good, thank you. Are we looking after you, feeding and all the rest?
It's all good, it's all good.
So what are you thinking for the game tonight? Have I got this wrong? Yeah. Scott. It's Scott who is with. Of course it is Scott. I thought you... Scott, good to speak to you. What are you feeling now about the game?
Nothing much really. I hope that they put in a performance, something better than they've been putting in the last 5 games, that's for sure. But
any pluses from the... I mean, Al McGregor at times, he didn't start the season. Were you surprised that he wasn't the number one?
I was quite surprised actually after what he'd done for us last season. He pulled off some great saves, penalty saves in Europa League games, pulled it out of the bag for us during the league as well. So to put McLaughlin in for the start, I thought was unfair to Al McGregor because he'd done nothing wrong.
No. And he just re-signed, and he's an outstanding keeper. I mean, can you think of a better Rangers goalkeeper over the years? Apart from maybe Andy Gorham.
Andy Gorham, I remember the end of Chris Wood's era. I'm just under 40, so I remember Chris Woods, then Andy Gorham was the one, Stefan Kloss as well. So we've been quite lucky for goalkeepers over the years.
German keeper, the English keeper as well. And Chris Woods, that was a massive signing, wasn't it? Mark, you remember it. He was the England goalkeeper.
Yeah, I was watching Terry Butcher on
Sky
today. You think about that, some of the great players. Ray Wilkins that were able to in times for south of the border.
There's a player.
I mean, when you think
look at Barry's face.
Of that back then, your brother was lucky enough to go and play with him.
I was lucky enough to be a young boy and go in and see him. I always remember the signing from Italy, these old black boots, but they looked brilliant. They were gleaming, shining, but what a football player he was.
Were you cleaning them? Did you brush them?
No, I was too young.
Tried to nick them.
But he was a joy to watch. Brilliant football player.
And what a gentleman.
Again, been in his company. We had been in his company 2 or 3 times previous to obviously his sad passing. And he was just a brilliant football person. But he always spoke how highly he thought he Rangers. He loved his time up here.
And everyone loved him, didn't they? Right across football, nobody had a bad word for him. Scott, what's your all-time favourite Rangers player? Who was it? Who is it? Putting you in the spot here?
Probably Super Ali. I don't think you can... Barry was outstanding in his time, but Super Ali's got to be up there for everybody, really.
Top striker. What a player. Super Ali.
Oh yeah, he's one of my heroes. My hero, one of my heroes. That full 9 in a row team. That's when you really start to have a plan. You want to be a footballer, and just having the fact that I could go in and watch these guys train and the way they trained, the way they went about their business. It was a brilliant learning curve for me. But listen, that full group of players, they were born winners. That's what they were.
And how was Ali with you? I reckon he would wind you up because he does with everyone. But I'm sure there'd be a kindness there, and he'd give you some
there was
tips.
There was a serious side to him as well. Don't listen. It's not all this laughing and joking and bubbly. As a coach, if you weren't doing it, you weren't trying. If you had an off game or an off training session, he would be on you. You know what I mean? You knew you were where you stood with him. But listen, as a footballer, look, his record speaks for itself, and yet he'll always go down. It was just when he was the Rangers manager, there was a few bits said, and that kind of worried me. Like, take that aside, what happened as the Rangers manager. I look at it as a player. He was a phenomenal player. And a good coach as well. I enjoyed working under Coisty.
Scott, what do you reckon? What's your prediction for tonight?
To go with my heart, I'd probably go for 3-1 Rangers, but my head says probably 3-1 to Ajax, I'll be honest. Just with the inexperience of the back line, that's what the central defence has about it, really.
Yeah.
That is the only worry. I did mention that, and he's spot on. It's Sands, look, I think's done a great job, and Leon King, 18-year-old. He's been brilliant since he's come in, but it's that lack of experience at that level, and you need to look at some of the players that Ajax have got on show tonight. If they're on it, they could punish you. So hopefully they'll have an off night.
Hard to believe, no Connor Goldson, Ben Davies, John Suter. What's that? He's just
the heart of that back four, which is so important in European football, is not there. So you're going with a mateship. You just got to hope that they say that they click. There's plenty of communication. There's desire. There's determination. Don't gamble. Just keep it simple. Don't take any unnecessary risks. You know, see if you've got to put it in nose head, Paul.
Yeah.
Put it in nose head, get your shape back, get your breath back, and then go again. But middle to front, there's no doubt that Rangers can go and hurt Ajax. So if you want to flip it round, I can see where Scott's coming for. Absolutely, it could go either way, because I think both teams, their best bits are middle to front.
I don't think there's a... But the two of them, even though they're inexperienced, the lack of Lundstram and Jack in front of them, I think, plays a big difference as well. I think that leaves them even more open than what they would be.
And I think Dave will come into that tonight. He'll need to use the experience where he can shield them a wee bit with balls going into the centre forward. But again, makes a good point. Lundstram and Jack, I mean, they're key players. They're big players. And you just went through the centre backs that are out injured just now. I hope two of them do really well tonight, but it's just the inexperience there that does slightly concern me. But then I look at the three in the midfield. We just mentioned Devo, Arfield, Tillman. They need to bonnet tonight, get up and support Sholak, and obviously Sakala, use his pace. And I hope Ryan Kent produces a display that we know he's capable of doing.
And Scott, then it'll be back to the league, which is, how important is it for you to win it, to regain it?
It's the utmost important. I think the league as well. It's your bread and butter. You want to be competing, winning, and obviously the last few. Gio's had a lot of bad results, but he's had a few bad results, unlucky results, lack of players. It's no going for them. So hopefully we can get a few good results before the World Cup break.
Scott, thanks very much for joining us, and we'll maybe speak to you later.
Thanks very much.
In the podcast. Thank you so much, because the clock is ticking. We're going to take a quick break, and it's the final one. The teams will be out in the not too distant. They're out at the moment. I can see there on BT Sport. I see Ali is on as well. He was on radio this morning. He's on there tonight. Of course he is. And we're looking forward to the build-up continues. We're back here live just after this.
The Go Radio Football Show with MacklinMotors.com, representing some of the biggest motoring manufacturers across Scotland.
Let's go!
Thanks to everyone for making the switch. Over 6,000 downloads on YouTube to our channel. 6 million, of course, just checking. Thank you for that. What's the difference? About 300 grand a year. And also for making the switch to us, 5 o'clock every evening, although on the Euro nights we're on from 6. And tomorrow night, remember, we're on from 4, because we'll be then building up to Real Madrid against Celtic. The build-up is there. Jim White's just been on, so he reckons 2-2. Barry was on saying hello to you. He's tuned in there in London. He reckons 2-2.
Does he?
Yep, that's what Jim's reckoning.
Yeah, it's the same as Mark and I think Ross. Yep. Jim White giving his prediction. When's Ross King coming in?
Yep, well, we'll find out. He may well be listening there. He was in Laguna Beach earlier, so you never know. People listen to us all over the world. They're listening. And Stuart's listening. He's joined us from Johnson, but you're here with us at Radisson Red. Are we looking after you?
Aye, it's been brilliant. Like,
good.
Got a bit of a free scoff in that, you know.
Excellent, a free scoff. You can't beat it on a Tuesday night. Only on Go Radio. You enjoying Crofty and Grado in the morning?
Oh, aye.
Fantastic,
Definitely.
great. Yeah, somebody won a couple of £100, £666 yesterday. And Halloween was
They're
terrific,
good
wasn't
in the morning.
They are, aren't they?
I'll be honest with you, I'm not a morning person.
No.
So I switch them on and I kind of brighten up a wee bit.
Are you an evening person? He's going to batter me, isn't he? He's going to go for it. Wait, Stuart, what are you thinking? You've been listening.
Early afternoon.
Yep. Early afternoon. Right, we'll try and change the show if we could there. Tell the bosses. Tracy, Barry wants to do the show mid-afternoon. Stuart, what are you thinking tonight?
I'm thinking maybe 2-1 Rangers, but it could go a lot worse, couldn't it? Let's be honest, with recent results and stuff, we've not really been playing our best football, have we?
And yet Europe, you've been so good in Europe for a few years.
Like the last 3 years,
Yeah.
we've done pretty well, but I think just the massive step up in competition going to the Champions League, it just proves it is a massive step from Europa to the Champions League. Thinking
of the team tonight, you know the Rangers line-up now. It's Griggs in goal. I'm looking at Barry's obviously here. I don't know what I'll have on this. Griggs in goal. Tavernier, King, Sands and the boy Barisic. I made that up about that. Stephen Davis, Arfield, Tillman, Sakala and Kent with Cholak up front. What about Malik Tillman? What do you think about him?
I think he's pretty special. I think we've still to see a lot from him. some of the displays he's put on have been phenomenal. But again, some of them he's been a bit short of the mark, I think. But like his goal, what was it, 2 weekends ago? What was that, 50-yard run?
Yeah.
Like just
Maisie, yeah.
Like it was phenomenal just to see, you know.
Mark, what do you make of Tillman?
I like Tillman, Paul. You know, I've championed him a lot on this programme. I think he said, you know, some Rangers fans have criticised him this season, wanting more, and I kind of get that. But I would also need to balance it out that, you know, he's a kid. You know, he's only got 20 odd first team games under his belt. Because he comes from Bayern Munich, people have that high level of expectation, and that's understandable. But he is a boy. He's learning the game. And like we're speaking about Liam King. Liam King's only 18 months younger, something like that. So you've got to remember that, you know, the older guys have got to help bring the best out of him. But there's no doubt he's a talent. And like we spoke about Kent about 10 minutes ago, if Tillman's on it, he can go and hurt the team tonight. There's absolutely no doubt that Tillman can go and hurt Ajax. And if Rangers are to win tonight, Kent, Tillman, Sakala and Cholak, it goes without saying, the four of them will need to be right on it. And by the way, see, tonight there's no reason why they can't be, Paul.
Yeah, he's got a lot of tools to make it to the top. I think in terms of his feet, quick feet, great ability, can score a goal. I have seen some comments about people saying, no, he doesn't need to do the dirty side. There's enough players in the team to do that. But I think the top players, certainly the players that I've played with, the top players, they graft as well. They go and do the dirty side of the game. And when I've read and I've heard a couple of people say that, I find it strange. I think that's one thing he needs to work on. Be more of a team player. When he loses the ball, go and sprint back as quick as you can to help out, to get the ball back or help your teammates out. But certainly going forward, he's really impressed me. You can see why he's a Bayern Munich player. Terrific attributes, as I said. And he's going to be a big player tonight for Rangers. Certainly him and Arfield, they're the ones that will be, I think Gio will be looking at to get up in contact, close contact with Cholak, because what you don't want is Cholak being isolated up there, because it's no Cholak's game to go and take the ball in and bring midfielders into play. Cholak likes to be in the box, so it's important that Tillman and Arfield get up and support him with Sakala and Kent getting crosses into the box.
Scott Arfield, 34 today.
Yep.
Could be good news for him.
I really like Scott Arfield. I championed quite a bit to get more game time for Rangers, Paul. I think he's a dying breed, a midfielder. I keep saying this. Yeah. Makes the runs into the box, the late runs that defenders hate defending against. And again, you can see why he's played down in England at the top level. And again, he's going to be such an important player tonight for Rangers. And he's one of the guys that you'd be looking to get on the end of one of the balls into the box and hopefully put one in the back of the net.
He finds space, doesn't he, Stuart? When you think of Scotty Arfield, some of the goals he's scored.
It's like any time like we've really needed a goal, Scott Arfield's always stepped up and he's got his goal, hasn't he? Like, what was it, the semi-final last year? In injury time, Scott Arfield comes on the pitch for minutes, wasn't it? Gets us the goal. Like, he's always a guy we can rely on, I feel.
An impact player.
Yeah.
How do you feel about your captain tonight, James Tavernier? This will be a big night for him to give encouragement to the Tillmans and the younger players, Leon Kings. What do you feel about Tavernier?
So, I love him, but I don't feel that he's the captains that I've always seen of Rangers have always been your good aggressive captains. Barry, the guy on my left here, like the guys that will put a boot up when needed. You know what I mean? I don't feel that Tavernier does that enough. But he gets you the goal when you need it, or he does the attacking part when needed. You know what I mean? He does the other side of it, other than the getting the boot in.
Barry, do you see that?
That's my opinion.
Yeah. Do you agree?
Yeah. Listen, he could be a bit more vocal, but Paul, see if I'm being honest with you, I don't think he's that type of player. But in terms of, I think he does his talking with his feet, no doubt about it. He gets forward. I think over the last couple of years, his defending has really improved. So listen, it's a big night for him, and hopefully he can lead from the front.
Yeah, I mean, Tavernier, he'll know what's required tonight, and it's up to him to go and show it. You know, to really stand up and be a Rangers captain. He'll not want to be a captain that's part of that record that we don't want to talk about. I hope we've mentioned that enough tonight, but go and do it. And if there's a penalty kick, he can go and stick them away as well. But yeah, Tavernier, I think he maybe feel a wee bit of pressure leading the team out tonight, Barry, but it should be enjoyable pressure as well in front of 50,000 standing leading the team.
Go and embrace it. I was through a few difficult times, and it's one of the ones where you've got to puff your chest out, Mark. Go and lead the team out and say, right, do you know what, I'm going to lead for the front here. I'm going to go and try and make something happen as quickly as possible. We've certainly done it in previous times where Rangers have been through difficult periods, and hopefully he's one of the leaders tonight.
Stuart, I just smiled when you said, I love you, but sounds like my first wife. I love you, but that you knew there was a but coming there, that it's not going that well.
What's up with you tonight?
You okay? Well, I think we're just getting ready for the game tonight.
Yeah.
I think the last two of our programmes, the special Euro nights here at the Radisson Red, we're looking forward to the games, and I think people just want to get. There've not been many laughs in this campaign.
Do you know what I just want tonight? I just want an all-action. Listen, I just want them to go and leave everything out in that pitch.
Yeah.
That's it. Whether brilliant if they get the 3 points, good if they get a point. But see if Ajax win, I want them to walk off in the crowd knowing that they've gave it everything. That's all you can ask a football player, and that's all they can ask of themselves. As long as they go in that dressing room after the game, after the whistles went, they sit down and they can all look in the mirror and say they gave it everything. That's all you can ask, Paul.
Sure. Have you been embarrassed at the moment? 1 goal, no points.
It's not been an easy watch. It's been pretty hard, especially after last season's European run. You know what I mean? It was like with this great expectation, and then don't get me wrong, when we seen the draw, it was like, yeah, all right, this has got to be fun.
Yeah.
But I genuinely didn't expect this to be going from some European records to the worst European record in the group stages,
But they have to give it everything. Barry's point.
Well, 100%.
Leave nothing
it's
out
required.
there.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll keep going. Don't worry.
Sorry, I've lost my.
Yeah, don't worry, Mark. Give it everything tonight.
That's it. If you want to draw a very quick comparison across the other side of the city, Celtic haven't won a game. They've got 2 points, but the fans have accepted the way they've played because they've been in the front foot. They've tried to entertain. They've missed a lot of chances and they've given 100%, and they've been picked off in the last half hour of games with a lack of energy and switching off. If Rangers can do that tonight, because in paper, like I said, in some ways you can have sympathy for Rangers because they've had 5 extremely tough games. Tonight is their easiest game, but it should be on paper. This should be their easiest game. So look, you'd like to think that Rangers can go and beat Ajax with 50,000 Rangers supporters in the stadium. It will not be easy. Absolutely, there's no easy games in the Champions League. There are no easy games in the Champions League. But tonight, why not? Just go and give it your all. Be brave. Try things. Get at them. And go and try and win the game.
Barry, who's going to win the other one? Liverpool-Napoli. Who's going to come out on top?
Well, Napoli are the team, Paul, that has impressed me throughout the Champions League. I know Liverpool have suffered that. I never seen that coming. That result at the weekend. Yeah. Leeds going there and winning 2-1. It's a hard
to
one.
say, isn't it?
Liverpool are out of form. Napoli are the form team. Don't be surprised if Liverpool beat them tonight.
Could you, Mark? What do you reckon?
I'm going to disagree with Barry. I fancy Napoli strongly tonight.
Right, yeah, to come out on top. You've seen some great teams this season, though. I know when you reflect on it, at least you're there, rather than... It was great for Rangers to get to the Champions League, having missed out on the automatic.
Well, exactly. Like the whole fact that we still got past PSV and managed to get to the group stages, and it's the first time in 12 years.
Yeah.
Like, it's great to see us back, and we can just build on it hopefully from here.
Who's going to win the trophy, do you think? Man City, Real Madrid?
I want to say Liverpool, but we'll see. Hopefully not City.
You're not a City fan?
No,
definitely not.
Definitely not.
Okay, so, and your final again, your scoreline tonight?
Sorry?
What's your scoreline tonight?
For Rangers?
For Rangers?
2-1 Rangers.
2-1?
Yeah.
Right. Barry, you think for
3-2.
Rangers? 3-2. And Mark?
2-2.
2-2. It's going to be a draw there. Stuart, thanks very much for joining us. We'll maybe speak to you later. Gregor's here as well. He's a St Mirren fan, so is the big crowd okay? All right, no, none of that.
Hey.
No, none of that stuff. Yeah, listen, the buddies as well. So that's great. And some of the guys there know Ali Defoy, of course, who was our colleague here and doing a great job in broadcasting. Well, the talking's just about over. The teams are in the tunnel, I think. Mark,
Yeah,
can you see them there?
Yeah, we are. Yep, Paul just down here trackside, just glancing over, and they're in the tunnel getting ready for that fantastic Champions League theme tune.
You just want it to start now, don't you, Barry? Yep,
Yeah,
ready for the match.
Listen, this is when, as a player, Paul, you're just desperate to get out there, listen to that tune, and then get the game started.
There's two. Yep. Two of your old teammates there, the De Boer brothers.
Yeah, no bad.
They're looking like a couple of models there, aren't they? They've been at Slater's or the Boss shop, maybe.
Listen,
with those two.
Frank was a top player. I love playing with Ronald.
Yeah,
I've got to be honest with you. It was never his fault.
Was it not?
Let's just
was it always yours? Or
you can imagine the amount of battles me and Ronald went through with each other. But to be honest with you, we clicked when he came. You knew where he was going to be. Just such a clever football player and a good guy as well, to be honest with you.
Arthur Newman as well, one of your favourites. I wonder if he's in the house tonight, because it's great to see the ex-players come back.
He'll be dancing somewhere, I don't know.
Yeah, it is. I think the De Boer twins are over. Michael Moles is over. And they all want to come. Obviously, Frank and Ronald won the European Cup or the Champions League one of the very first times under Louis van Gaal. So, listen, they know what it takes to. And if you think about it, when they played it, Rangers signed Ronald De Boer for Barcelona. Yeah,
I know.
He knocked back Man United to come and sign for Rangers. So, they were great players, and they lit up the Scottish game. Frank De Boer, he was only at Rangers for 5 months, but my God, he was absolutely exceptional as a central defender.
Here they come, the referee in red tonight as the teams take the field. There's Sir James Tavernier, does that wee step that he does, the Rangers captain, and how he would love to take at least a point tonight, Barry. And you reckon they could take all 3?
Yeah, hopefully they can get the 3 points, Paul. But listen, the main thing is go out, salvage a bit of pride, go and put a all-action, aggressive display on and see where it takes them. And hopefully that's getting 3 points on the board.
And just looking at Alan McGregor, the last man out there, as he normally does. Yep, the Champions League theme comes on as the cameras pan the Ajax team, and they've got a lot to play for as well, because their pride is hurt after great performance. There's Calvin Bassey. They've got the tracksuit tops on at the moment, and then they'll reveal that famous strip. Well, good luck to Rangers tonight. We'll be back tomorrow night here on the Go Radio Football Show with Macklin Motors. We'll be on from the earlier time of 4, previewing Real Madrid against Celtic. But Barry, you'll love that music. There it is for the last time this season, the Champions League music. We'll be back later with Steen at the Radisson Red.
The game's just about to start, Paul.
Thank you. Go. Enjoy it. Thanks. Good night.
Good night.
The Go Radio Football Show with MacklinMotors.com, representing some of the biggest motoring manufacturers across Scotland.
Let's go! There's a new name for Toyota in Lanarkshire.
From one of the UK's biggest names in motor retail.
Macklin Motors Toyota is now open in Hamilton.
We're bringing you everything Toyota, backed by first-class service.
So come and view the stunning new Toyota range, all with up to 10 years warranty.
Including the Aygo Cross and the new Yaris Cross compact SUV.
See our great choice of approved used Toyotas.
Our formidable range of commercial vehicles, including the Hilux.
Get expert servicing from our manufacturer-trained technicians.
And specialist advice from our Motability team.
Macklin Motors Toyota is open now
at Whistlebury Road, Hamilton.
And the whistle has just gone. Rangers completely out of Europe without a win. A 3-1 defeat tonight to Ajax at Ibrox, and it all started to go wrong in 4 minutes when Berghuis scored for Ajax. Caught Rangers out immediately, and that was the story of the night, Barry, wasn't it? A fight back at the end, 2-1 with a couple of minutes to go, but 3-1 at the end. What's your reaction?
Yeah, listen, worst possible start, Paul. Ajax scoring in the first 4 minutes, and then it's back to the walls. Rangers had a period of 10, maybe 15 minutes. Then Ajax get the second goal, and then to be quite honest, I thought Ajax were in cruise control, Paul. Look, Rangers made a late comeback with a goal, a penalty for Tavernier, but then Ajax just replied straight after that to make it 3-1. So overall, I thought Ajax thoroughly deserved the win. In terms of the group stage, look, it's been real disappointing. Look, when the group stage get brought out, obviously Liverpool, Napoli, Ajax, for me it was probably the toughest group, but you still at least want to get some points on the board. So that's the biggest disappointment in terms of Rangers. Tonight I thought it was an opportunity for them, but at the end of the day, for me, Ajax were clearly the better team.
Mark, that's the first Scottish team to go through the group section in the Champions League with no points, and it's bitterly disappointing for the 50,000 Rangers fans tonight and all the Rangers fans listening.
Yeah, it is, Paul. It was a record that Rangers didn't want to be labelled with. There's no doubt that it'll be constant for 2 or 3 days, and then they need to switch off and concentrate on Sunday when they go to St Johnstone. But even though it's no points, Paul, out of a possible 18, when you reflect on the 6 games, they've probably not really been close to even getting a point. Because Barry's right. When you look tonight, quick goal, Ajax in cruise control. They could have gone 3 up. They'd a goal disallowed by a toe, by VAR. They did get back into it for a spell. Kent had a couple of good runs. Sakala had a couple of good runs. Morelos, for the second Champions League game in a row, has missed a sitter to pull it back to 2-1.
And Rangers got the penalty, just after that.
Just
it could have been 2-2.
Sakala's missed a sitter at 1-0, a header at the back post. They should have scored. So they did create chances, but over the piece, despite the golfing standard, and I totally accept that. However, I think Rangers should be doing better in terms of making a game of it. And over the 6 games, I don't think you could argue with 0 points, Paul. I can't think of somewhere where you could say, do you know what, they were really unlucky not to even pick up a draw there. They've been outclassed in 6 games. And for me tonight, the thing about Ajax was their pace and movement. Rangers could not cope with Ajax's pace and movement.
Barry, they did look a different class, didn't they? I know they've had a lot of criticism, but you didn't see that tonight. Yeah,
look, I thought there were levels above Rangers. No just pace and power that Mark says there, technically as well. They could handle the ball all over the pitch, Paul. Didn't matter if it was a defender or a midfielder or a forward-thinking player. They were a really good team to watch. We knew that. Look, they've been going through it. They've had a couple of tough results in the Champions League. But look, overall, no doubt in my mind, Ajax thoroughly deserved it. Yep, Rangers had a few chances. Sakala, I thought it was cleared off the line with Bassey, but actually when I watched it from another angle, it was actually going past the post. Morelos, for me, has got to score that one. Tav puts the penalty in. Kent had a couple of opportunities in the second half where he done really well and get the ball into the box. But overall, real disappointing campaign. Tough group, but you still expect Rangers to get at least a point or a few points on board.
This is the Go Radio Football Show. It's the special we're doing here from the Radisson Red with our friends at Steen, and we're just hearing it's actually 3 minutes to 10. The whistle's just gone at Anfield, and Liverpool scored twice late on, especially the last one was 10 minutes into injury time, and it's Darwin Núñez. Salah had scored sort of late in the game, so 2-0 win for Liverpool against Napoli. But that makes no difference to Rangers here tonight, who you saw that golf. I mean, Ajax have had so much criticism, but they looked very, very good tonight.
Yeah, I mean, they're a good team. They've obviously found it difficult stepping up against Napoli and Liverpool, which is understandable. But yeah, as Barry said, technically, I thought their movement, just the wee angles, just moving a yard here and there, Paul, just to be able to receive the pass, and then when they get into that final third, they just explode. The attacking numbers, there's always great options. That said, when you could see a couple of shots of the TV cameras going into the Rangers technical area, and you see Giovanni shaking his head in disbelief, head in his hands, because some of the defending's amateurish, and a manager is expecting his players to cope with some of the situations that they find themselves in by communicating, by having better positional sense. You can't coach every inch and every second of every game. Players at that level have got to take responsibility as well. And over the 6 games, again, yes, there's a difference in class, but the Rangers players should have been doing better. First goal and the second goal, Barry, because
I think he'll be very unhappy with that. You can't let the ball go inside you. What happened to Tavernier? You've got to let the ball go wide and then make him beat you. Or if he beats you, gets a cross in, then the defenders can deal with it. The second one for me as well, Sands has got to get out. I watched it as well. Could King as well, possibly, but for me, Sands has got to get. He's standing a yard off the player. He's got to get touch tight with him. 2 disappointing goals. Third one, it's a great ball, to be fair, and the boy has a great finish. But I just expected more, Paul, after the performance they had in Saturday against Aberdeen. There was a golfing class there today.
Ali,
or tonight, should I say.
Ali, you joined us earlier today. What do you feel then? 3-1 Ajax at the end. What's your overall assessment of the game?
I think that it was overall it was a fair result. Ajax were definitely in charge for most of the game. I feel like Rangers were outclassed for most of the game, but in the future I think we'll probably see like Leon King, guys like that kick on. You might in the future see a better standard going forward.
He'll learn from tonight, won't he? Well, this campaign, people like Leon King, it's been a baptism of fire for him, but he hasn't let Rangers down, has he?
No, he's not. For a kid, he's been put in a real difficult situation, and he didn't hide at all, Paul. That's one thing about defensively. Yeah, he'll certainly learn a lot. Positional sense. When to sit, when to go, when to attack the ball, when to stand off. Different things, but yeah, that experience, despite the fact that it's been defeats, will do him the world of good. There's no doubt about that. But I know we're here to talk about Europe, but very quickly Rangers need to dust themselves down and make sure they win their final 3 league games before the World Cup break.
Oh, they have to, and that's crucial, isn't it, Barry? They have to dust themselves down quickly to make sure that they don't drop points against St Johnstone.
Yeah, listen, they're going to come in for a bit of flag in terms of having no points in the Champions League. That's going to happen over the next couple of days, but they need to focus on, first and foremost, the 3 games. Sunday, McDermott Park, 12 o'clock on Sunday. It's going to be a tough one up there. They need to make sure they come back down the road with the 3 points. In terms of Leon King, I think it will be a great learning curve for him. 18 years of age, coming up against some quality players. I think he'll only learn for that and get stronger for that.
It's our podcast here, live from the Radisson Red. Some of our friends have stayed here. It's been a tough watch tonight, and Rangers, I'm afraid, after what happened elsewhere, they have the worst. It's the worst record in group stages, not just any Scottish team this year. It's the poorest, with only 2 goals.
Yeah, it is.
Minus 20 overall.
I'm not sitting here as being a cheerleader or making excuses, but first of all, let's give Giovanni and his players credit for getting through August, Paul, for getting through the difficult qualifiers, and for enhancing the bank balance at the club, which is also important. Now, for the supporters, they've paid £180 for their package, and they may well feel short-changed, and that's understandable, and they'll feel frustrated and they'll feel let down. But the club have performed well enough in Europe over the piece, and getting to the Champions League is an achievement. You'd have wanted the draw to be kinder. If you're Giovanni and the Rangers fans, you want them to go out and improve the squad in the final 7 days of the window after getting the Champions League jackpot. I'm not saying go out and spend 30 or 40 million, but just to go and bring in 1 or 2 more. But that's not happened. You can't change what's happened, but you can affect and learn from your mistakes, and that's what Rangers need to do in the January window, Paul. They can't stand still. The last 3 windows haven't been good enough, absolutely not good enough, and they must do better in January.
And listen, tonight as well, you've got to remember the players that were missing through injury and suspension. Connor Golson, Ryan Jack, John Lundstrom, Tom Lawrence to a certain extent, who started off his Rangers career really well. They're big players, but still when you look at it, there is enough quality in terms of middle to front to try and affect the game. But quite honest, just watching it, they just couldn't get close to them. They were a good they were a joy to watch at times. Ajax, the calmness, the pace, the power, the technical ability of them, and it's one of the ones where Rangers need to go away, dust themselves down, learn from what's happened over the past couple of months in the Champions League. It's certainly a step up, there's no doubt about that, for Europa League, and now they need to fully focus on doing one thing, and that's trying to regain the title back off Celtic. And be in a position, Ali, to invest wisely in January, because the squad needs bolstered.
Yep, no, definitely, Paul. They've really kind of struggled in the summer. They've bought some players, but none of them have really worked out. Like Matondo was bought for £4 million, and he's not really kicked on. So you're really expecting some signings in January to probably need to bolster defensively as well.
When you got that penalty late on, did you think it could be game on? Because Morelos he created the chance by challenging the keeper. What did you feel? I mean, normally he would have put that away.
Yeah, no, I never ever really feel confident when it comes to Morelos, to be honest with you. It's just is what it is. We are where we are just now, so we just need to accept it. And next year we might get back in.
And I thought Mark made a great point there. I mean, the performance against PSV away put Rangers in the Champions League, and a lot of money has come into the club. And yes, there could have been more money for transfers, but Rangers really needed a big cash injection.
Yeah, and there'll need to be, hopefully the board will put money up front for them to go and spend in January. January is a difficult window in terms of if you're bringing players in, it's players that are out of form or players that are out the team. But listen, you're listening to them, they've got to learn for this and they've got to learn for that. Now they've got to just take whatever comes their way, and they've got to focus on, as I said, Paul, they're 4 points behind Celtic. You've got to think that Celtic are going to take maximum points before the World Cup break. Rangers have got to do the same. And watching all the games in the group that we're in, Rangers were levels above, and I'm talking Ajax as well. Ajax were a good team. I wouldn't say Ajax are a top team, but that proved it last night how far Rangers have got to get to.
James Tavernier has just been interviewed on BT Sport, and Mark, you've been pitching up on it. He said it was tough, wanted a positive result for the final game. Learning curve, have to take it in our stride and come back stronger. The finer details need to be worked on at this level, just as you're saying, Barry. It is a different level, Mark.
Yeah.
We switched off a couple of times defensively, said, and we got punished. But we will learn from this, and we haven't given our fans what they wanted, and we will own up to that.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot you can argue with. He's been quite honest with his assessment. But the one quote that stands out: switched off a couple of times defensively, we get punished. But they're switched off in 6 games, Paul. You know, so I can understand like a kid. I use the word kid, like Leon King, learning from that experience. But you're more experienced players. Like I'm saying, there's shots of Giovanni Van Bronckhorst in the dugout. You know, looking at his staff, thinking, how can we be cut open like that? We shouldn't be getting cut open like that. And that's where they're saying, yeah, it's a great phrase that we'll learn from it. But are you learning because you're making the same mistakes?
So what are you learning?
Yeah. Exactly. You know. Now, if he wants to put your hand up and say we are just absolutely not good enough, then that's fair enough. You know, and it's hard to argue that. And if you want to go and do something, you need to bring in better players. But first and foremost, Rangers need to be creative. And I'll go back to, I think Celtic won the title because of the January window that they had and the January window that Rangers didn't have. And Rangers can't afford the same mistake. First and foremost, win your games and beat Celtic on January the 2nd. That keeps them right in it and puts the pressure on. Then go and be creative. So whatever markets you've been shopping in before, you need to find new markets. You need to make new contacts. You need to get agent or whatever it may be to come to you. Loan deals, go to Holland, go to whatever it may be. They need to try and do something different because the last 3 windows, and the evidence is there, last 3 windows haven't been good enough.
Barry, you'd agree? I know you do agree.
Yeah, but I'm just reading the interviews just now. In terms of watching the game, I just don't think there was enough aggression, enough contact. And when you're coming up against good quality players who can handle the ball, you need to make contact with them.
So why is that? Why are they not getting closer? Why are they not pressing?
That's something that they need to answer. As I said, and I feel I keep repeating myself, when you play against good players and you don't make contact with them, you don't harass them, make them feel uncomfortable, they're going to do one thing to you, and that's hurt you, because they're good players. They can handle the ball, they think quicker. So that was the thing that probably disappointed me most, especially in the first half. They had a period of 10 minutes But I still felt that Ajax were always in control of the situation.
Because at half-time, Ali, it could have been more. It was 2, it could have been 3 or 4, and the boos were ringing out at Ibrox. So actually in the second half, I wondered, did you feel Ajax maybe they thought the job was done? They had a third goal and it was chalked off. It was just offside, so it was right. But do you think they then thought, job done, and they did tire, and we saw a better side to Rangers in the last 10 minutes?
I think Ajax probably took the foot off the gas in the second half.
Yeah.
Rangers definitely upped the gear a wee bit in the second half, but I think the job was done by that point.
Yeah.
Mark, I just think as well, Paul, just a bit of perspective, and again, this is not making excuses, but
no, we need it. Go on.
Maybe I've been a wee bit hard. Maybe maybe we're not looking at the bigger picture enough. I don't know, because it's tough to take when we've been sitting here week after week after week, and you think back to, it was only 10 weeks ago, the excitement having two of our teams in the Champions League, and we shouldn't forget that. It's like I'd almost draw that a parallel, let Scotland get into a World Cup. Just getting there is an achievement, and that's maybe the way we've got to look at it now, unfortunately, because again, the evidence is there. Celtic have played better football, they've attacked more, they've created more chances, they've been more on the front foot, they've been braver on the ball, but they've not won a game either. Now they've got one game to go, but arguably the toughest game of the section, going to the Bernabeu. Maybe it's just where we are. Maybe we just need to accept getting into the Champions League, pocketing the cash, trying to do as well as you can, and hoping to drop down into Europa League as Rangers did last year. They make a fist of it and go to the final. Maybe we're just, media, supporters, but maybe we're expecting too much. I don't know. That's probably for Giovanni Van Bronckhorst and Ange Postecoglou to give us their take on it. And just be honest. Don't tell the media, tell the fans what you want to hear. Be absolutely honest and brutal in your assessment of the 6 games. And whether we agree with it or not, at least we know we're getting honesty from the two managers.
Some of the commentators will love it down south, won't they, Barry? Some of the ones that we talked about the other week, because the facts, they're just not good. Celtic so far, 2 points. OK, they've still got a game tomorrow, but it's Real Madrid. And of course the news today was that Cameron Carter-Vickers didn't travel with them. And then for Rangers, just 2 goals in the campaign and no points.
Sometimes you've just got to hold your hands up, Paul, and say the teams that we're playing are better.
Yep.
But one thing you've got to do is you've got to compete. You have.
That's what frustrated you.
Yeah, that's what probably frustrated me in a lot of the Champions League games, especially at Ibrox, when you've got your fans behind you. I just think sometimes they're standing off too much, giving too much respect to the opposition. And you always respect the opposition, but when you cross that white line, you've got to make sure they know they're in a game. And I thought the first half, Rangers didn't really do that.
No. Ali, a lot's been said about Calvin Bassey. You loved him at Rangers. My goodness, he's had a lot of stick, but he was outstanding tonight. What did you think?
Yeah, I think Calvin Bassey was a massive loss for Rangers in the summer. I think people underestimated how much a loss he was, to be honest with you, because he's a real colossal type character, but he's just a huge character as well. Do you know what I mean? So I think definitely massive loss in the summer. Same with Aribo as well.
Sure.
Huge loss. So I thought he was brilliant tonight though. So yep.
Yeah, he strolled it. He strolled it. Now, can I just say one thing? If that's him no playing well, I would hate to see him play well.
Yeah.
Now, I thought he was top class tonight. Yeah. Just strong defensively, really calm, collected on the ball, positional sense, top class. You know, his physical presence, nobody's going to run past him. I just thought he looked a top class centre forward. Now, was that maybe Sholak and then later on in the game, Morelos not getting close enough to him? I don't know, but I just thought he looked an absolute top class player, which I think he is, and I think he will become even better.
You can see the £20 million worth, Mark, tonight.
All day long. I mean, £20 million. Yep. I don't know the full ins and outs of what's been said in Holland and what they think of him at Ajax, but going by that performance tonight, they've got a right good deal. They'll sell him for a lot more money within a year, 18 months.
We're just seeing on BT Sport the highlights, and you saw Scott Artfield, and he helped to create a chance. He almost scored.
Yeah, it was a great turn and shot for Scott Arfield. That's what he can do. The keeper's got his fingertips to it, and then you just see the Morelos chance again. He does actually brilliant to go and make the keeper make the mistake. And look, I know people are going to come down go on about this and say maybe it's rustiness or not playing enough games. I don't care if you've not played for a number of months. You should be putting that in the back of the net. That's a bad miss for Morelos.
It was indeed. The goals had come from Berghuis in 4 minutes, actually 3 minutes 36 I think. Then 2-0, it was Kudus. He played it past McGregor, came off Sands I think as well, but it was a Kudus goal. 2-0 at half time, could have been more. And then Rangers, they got that penalty. James Tavernier. Matondo showed some pace, Mark, didn't he? Alvarez pulled him down and Tavernier did well. So for a moment it was 2-1.
Yeah, it was a clear penalty kick. Matondo coming off the bench and making an impact. I mean, that's what Matondo's got in his locker. It's a pace. It's like we all know it's the end product that he needs to work on, because with the greatest respect, if Matondo had an end product, he wouldn't be playing in Scotland for Rangers, and that's with the greatest respect. That's why he was available at £2.5 million. So we know he needs to lift his head and make better decisions the final third, and that's what Giovanni and his staff are good at coaching. That's why I've got confidence that Lee and King will get better, because look at the difference they made with Bassey. There's a classic example. Look at the Bassey that Van Bronckhorst and his staff inherited to the Bassey of 6 months later, and that's why, again, if we can just take a step back, allow all the noise from outside just to calm down and get back to coaching the team. And we made the point at the top of the show, without knowing the outcome of tonight, for the next 6 months Rangers will just play one game a week. Maybe that's just exactly what they need at this stage.
Yep. I'm just watching the third goal again there. It's a bad goal to lose as well. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a great pass. I think it's Tadic that plays the pass, but I think the positional sense of the left centre half and the full back could be better. So that's another mistake, I would probably say. So that's 3 goals I'm sure Gio will look back on and be disappointed in. The positional sense and the defending.
That's why he's sitting in the dugout pulling his hair out. Because he gets the blame of things that happen. He's saying, look, surely to God you can defend better. Surely to God you read the game better than that, Would Bassey have got caught out with him?
Would he have? No. Who knows?
Hindsight's a wonderful thing, but I mean, that's what I was talking about. Bassey, his positional sense for me tonight was it was top class.
Francisco Concesa, who's the boy, isn't he, of the coach. So I see as the programme finishes there on the telly, then that's the campaign for Rangers. 3-1 at the end. Well, it was 2-1 with moments to go, even a point. If spots and maybes, Ali, but at least you've been in the Champions League, Barry.
Yeah, can I just say, I mean, you're at 2-1 and if your positional sense better, you defend that, and then you've got a chance of maybe nicking a point the last 3-4 minutes. So that's a mistake, I'm sure. Mark just mentioned that Gio will be sitting on the bench thinking to yourself, what's going on here? Can we not defend that better? Can we not drop a wee bit? Can my left full back not get in a bit tighter? And then, listen, if you defend that properly, you've got 3 or 4 minutes to pile a wee bit of pressure. The fans will be going crazy. They'll be getting behind you. Ajax, look to me, if they started to tire a wee bit towards the end of the game, then you've got a chance of salvaging at least a point. So, disappointing in terms of the 3 goals.
Barry, we've enjoyed spending these nights with you, apart from the results, but here at the Radisson Red with Steen, everyone's looked after us. Ali, thanks for staying the course tonight. It was standing room only earlier on. It's not quite the case now, thanks to Gregor and the rest of the guys and girls here tonight. Ali, you look forward to St Johnstone Rangers at the weekend, because that's it, you get back to the league now, isn't it? Yeah,
that's the bread and butter, isn't it? So looking forward to that at the weekend.
Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Back to Paisley. And Mark will be back tomorrow night for Real Madrid against Celtic. But your final thought for Rangers, and what I took from what you said was, well, Rangers got it. It was one spot automatic. Rangers did a lot to get there. It was Celtic who won it, but Rangers did well to get into the tournament.
Yeah, they did. I think you assess it over 10 games. 2 qualifiers, double legs, and then the 6 games. The 6 games weren't good enough, but they were up against opposition that were just clearly now that we've watched it, just so much better than them. But Rangers should have done better. They should have, and they won't be happy. They'll be hurting. There'll be a bit of embarrassment to finish this section with 0 points. But they have got to learn, and now, Paul, it's getting back to doing things right domestically and making sure the key is that you have a better transfer window than what they've had in the previous year. If they don't have a good transfer window in January, they can absolutely kiss goodbye to the title.
Barry?
Well, brilliant being back in the Champions League, no doubt about it. That's where Rangers for me belong. A disappointing qualification group stage, no doubt about it. Hopefully they can learn their lessons, and hard, harsh lessons, and they can kick on from now until the end of the season. As Mark made a great point, now the focus is one game a week. I know they've got a midweek game against Hearts next week, but then get to the World Cup break, get your injured players back, hopefully do a bit of business in January and take the fight to Celtic and try and regain that league title. That's the most important thing now for Rangers.
Can I give you a positive fact? Since the start of last season, Rangers' James Tavernier has scored more penalties than any other player in major European competition, 5 of them, and he scored tonight. Rangers lost 3-1 to Ajax, Liverpool won 2-0 over Napoli, and our record was broken tonight with the Rangers. They're lacking no points, but we're not going to dwell on that. We'll be back up, we'll bounce back. Barry, we'll see you on Friday on the programme at 5. And Mark, thank you so much. Tomorrow night we'll be live here.
I think I'll be welcome tomorrow night, so I'll listen to you. I'll listen to the boys on